I've got enough money saved up. I want to branch out and do something else. Like everything runs its course. Like everything has a timeline. You want to believe that everything that you have going on is going to go on for the rest of your life. You might have a good
Hmm.
job, you might have good friends, you might have a good wife, but at some point in your life when you were a kid, you and your friends played outside for the last time and none of y'all knew about it. Nothing is for certain in life. And like I'm just going to plan ahead and be like I'm probably not going to stream until I die. So like
Right. Yeah, no one seems to. Like it
yeah,
all wraps up at some point with a quiet death. Um, I don't know. Yeah, it never bothered me the stuff that wasn't true. That's not what ever got to me. One thing that uh thanks sub. One thing that oh, I'm sorry, the subscriber made me lose my train of thought.
it
Uh
happens. I've done it.
oh, what bothers you? You don't like being called a pedo?
You
Understandable, but
said the things that aren't true is not what bothers you. What bothers you is X.
yeah. Well, the one famous one for me was color correction. I tried so hard and I never got good at it, and people would give me shit. And when they gave me shit and it was true, that kind of
Well,
that kind of burned me a little bit.
it's always the stuff that you kind of know in your head, but you don't put voices to that hurts the most. Like when something is like borderline true,
Mhm.
and it's like, well, this
Yes.
video could have been better, and you're looking in your head like, yeah, it probably could have been better. Like that's the shit that actually gets under your skin. Like calling me fat doesn't bother me. Like it might bother me in like a frustrating way because like I got 15 people calling me fat over and over again and like making like little drawings in my chat of like a fat person gorging on like a burger. It's frustrating because I constantly can't. I have to filter through that to read legitimate comments, but like it doesn't hurt my feelings.
So, two things. One, my stream is just wildly giving me shit about color corrections, which is funny. And two, one thing what I was hunting for before dealing with hate. So sometimes you'll hear like, "Hey man, I'll grab I don't know, Ninja for example. Ninja never has any trouble with hate, yet you do. What's wrong, dude?" Those guys do not get the hate ratio that like I have on my worst days or you have on your worst days. Like it would be easy to deal with the level of hate that like I don't know, name a successful streamer right now, like the Gold Glove gets, right? I'm sure somebody out there fusses at him, but the ratio that he gets compared to like what you have to work with is not the same.
It's not.
So when they're like, "Oh, Wings goes bonkers," and other people don't, Wings is playing this game on veteran. It's not the same. They don't
Yeah.
give you credit for how much you do let roll
Well,
off.
like the one you're probably talking about, like the God of War stuff, where I was like, I tried
Not
God.
anything in particular.
Ooh,
Oh, I do remember that. I enjoyed that. Maybe
yeah,
I'm a
I
dick,
mean, I remember
but
you said, "What you guys broke your toy."
yeah, yeah, that's the thing I
that
say sometimes.
but the like I went into God of War. This was my first God of War. I didn't play any of the first three, and I went into this one on the highest difficulty setting. And like I
Uh
was
huh.
down to take my lumps. Like I'm down to die 15,000 times. That's because like to me, video games is a mind thing. Like it's a mind exercise. Like what am I doing wrong? How can I do it better? Let me do this till I get it right. But like it kind of hits you in the pride when like and like it goes back to saying like it's what they're saying is partially true. You're not good enough to do this. And when like you die 15 times on like tutorial fight, it's like I might not be good enough to do this. And like what bothered me the most with God of War is like when I went back and got good enough because I kicked it down to the next difficulty level, which is give me a challenge, and I breezed through the game. But I learned like
Dude,
combos
is
and
that
how to
why you
fight
wouldn't play
enemies.
World War Z with me? Because
No,
you didn't want to be new at a game on stream?
no, like it's a PC game most likely,
Mhm.
and like
That's all I've played lately.
I can't do mouse and keyboard because of carpal tunnel.
Really?
Like if I do like I learned this when I was playing PUBG. Like they got me playing PUBG and I played it with Kyle and them, and I was playing like 8 hours a day trying to get good at it. And like I
Okay.
got to the point where like I literally thought like the top of my hand was completely swollen, like it was just hurt to the touch. And I'm like, this is the same thing I used to deal with Diablo 2, like because I used to play a lot of PC games when I was younger, and it's the one of the reasons I switched to console was because like my top of my wrist would flare up, and my arm would go numb down to the elbow, and it's like, this
From a
isn't for me.
keyboard?
It's the way I use the mouse mainly,
Oh,
because I'm a wrist aimer, not an arm aimer. Like I use my wrist to do everything.
not sure what I am.
And like you're supposed to use like your elbow and like use the entire mouse pad. Wings has lost 1K subs. Oh, I haven't.
What happened? I missed. What are they fussing at you for?
Oh, somebody's trying to say I lost 1K. Oh, he's saying Lean has lost 1K subs. Subs don't really matter though. It honestly doesn't. There's channels with 90,000 subs out there that make a living off of YouTube right now through Patreon and like just user interaction, because the YouTube game has changed. Like YouTube,
You can play World War Z with a controller. Why don't you jump in with me?
I don't own the game right now. We'll probably do it another time.
Come on, man.
We'll probably
Just do it.
Just do it another time. Like I'd really like to look the game up and everything.
It's a console game. Like it's on every platform, but it's not like the controller's an afterthought.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we'll probably do it another time because like I didn't really plan on like doing a big long gaming stream tonight.
But I didn't plan on talking to you tonight.
Yeah.
Load it up, baby.
Like we'll do it another time. I just wanted to like get all the stuff out because like a lot of people like try to create drama where drama's not there. Like that's a problem I deal with all the time.
That I've grown better at that. Like sometimes someone will say that you or anyone said this or that, and I'm like, I'm not reacting to it, because what can happen is maybe you said a much more mild version than it was when it got to me. Mm-hmm. So you say a 2, I respond with a 7, and then that would have you come back with a 9, when really if I knew it was a 2 in the first place, then I would have never gotten worked up over it.
Like Lexapro Zombie Jordy, first thing I go to is like, well, why would he say this thing? And like most of the time it's probably because instigators. Like
sometimes.
Like sometimes people will instigate you to say something and you're coming off the top of your head in an unscripted way and it doesn't come out right. It's like people all the time try to get me mad at Phil. I don't give a fuck what Phil does. It's like if Phil doesn't like me, Phil doesn't like me. I enjoy watching his content. That does not affect me watching his content. So like
I have a related question. I'm sorry to cut you off. You're doing it, but like I have to know. Did you come up with Crazy Cat Lady as a brand for that guy?
No, I didn't.
Oh, no, because it's brilliant. I don't know who did, but you're like, he's the Crazy Cat Lady of YouTube. And I'm like, oh my God.
I gave that to El Presador. And
you did.
And I stole that.
So you did come up with that?
No, I stole it from Lost Souls Gaming.
You stole it from who?
Lost Souls Gaming.
Oh, I don't know him.
He's a smaller guy I play with, but he would always call him in like private parties. El Presador's the Crazy Cat Lady of YouTube, and I just repeated it.
Once now that you've said that, when I don't see it. I saw a video about him, and I just see him through that lens now, and it cracks me
El
up.
Presador, right?
Say it again about El Presador.
It's El Presador is who I call the Crazy Cat Lady of YouTube.
Yeah. I guess I just wasn't giving him a shout out, but I'll just say it. Yeah,
you were talking about Phil to begin with.
I know.
Which Phil just got a cat recently, and the big controversy was like it was a $2,000 reveal, and it was like, this is a cat. I
don't know if that's a ripoff or like you respect the con for that.
I mean, like.
So how did he do a $2,000 reveal? Someone paid him $2,000.
I don't know all the information.
Secret.
But like, I think it went something along the lines of this. This is not 100% accurate information, so don't pretend it is.
Okay. All right.
Phil goes like, I got a secret in my life, and I'll let you guys in on it. And it's something I didn't want to tell anybody because of my money troubles recently. And if we meet our goal, which his goal was like $2,000, he was saving up for something. And I'll let you guys in on it. And I think that's how that happened. And it turned out he got a cat.
I choose to believe that's true because I like it. That's where I'm going with that.
And like in that way, I can see how it could happen, but like that's a little dishonest. That's not like when you pay $2,000, you expect Phil to come out with like a bombshell. It's like I've been fighting
Yeah.
melanoma, you know,
Yeah,
like so,
melanoma would be a $2,000 reveal for sure.
like I've been going to
Um,
doctors secretly, and like we haven't been paying my taxes off. We've actually been going to cancer treatment centers, and it's like, that would have been a $2,000 bombshell. But like, you got a cat and you named it. What did he name his cat? Chat? I forgot. It I know they've make. I know I've seen cat channels. It
oh,
is Jasper. Jasper's his name. Yeah.
my chat's all asking me to ask you if you're actually mad at Taylor.
No. I don't.
No, you say?
No. Why would I be mad at him?
The
He has.
Discord cuts you off. Oh, I know what it is.
I
Wait, can
understand.
you do this? In Discord, click on the gear,
Mm-hmm.
click on voice and video,
Okay.
and then where it says
Input.
automatically determine input sensitivity, turn that off, and then slide the slider bar to the far left.
To negative 100 decibels.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when you do that, it won't cut off the beginning of your sentence anymore.
Okay. No, I'm not mad at Taylor. Like all Taylor did was step into a lucrative opportunity that did nothing but benefit him. Like he had no control what happened before or after the fact.
And you do know he replaced Lefty.
Right. It doesn't matter who he replaced. Like people were mad at people are saying that because I said Taylor got X amount of money, and like I said that when I wasn't on an SSRI. That was during the time where I was getting hounded constantly by trolls, and I wasn't good with dealing with it. I'm much better dealing with trolls now. Like I've got years.
Do you think you'd be just as good at dealing with trolls if you without the SRI, without the Lexapro?
Not as good, but better. Like
Okay.
Like, I really enjoy my life more on SSRI than I do off of it. Like, I just do. Like, life is better. Like, I'm not controlled by my brain. Well, that sounds dumb, but, like, I'm just not controlled by my brain's emotions anymore.
Every so often you do a mass unban.
Hasn't
Do you
happened in
think
a
there'll
while.
be one coming up?
No.
No.
No. There's not going to be a mass unban coming up. And the reason that is because there's a lot of sock accounts out there, and like as soon as I mass unban people with like their 42 different sock accounts, I'm gonna have to ban them 42 different times. It's like there's a guy who comes to my chat. His name's Big Pimp Daddy. Insert numbers.
Cool name.
Yeah, his name's Big Pimp Daddy 1, Big Pimp Daddy 2. He's currently Big Pimp Daddy 46 because I've banned him 45 times.
Come on, that's kind of funny.
And like, there's multiple people that do that. They just get tired of making names, so they just insert another number, and like it gets so bad that there's sometimes like a week like idle period you have to chat in my chat room, and people just sit in my chat room and like make sure their accounts get enough time in so they can call me fat 3 or 4 times and get banned.
So now, do you think you're handling? Okay, I'll say it. I think you're handling that the wrong way. You know, just like you said earlier, like, oh, I let them know what bothers me, and then that tells them how to bother me. When you ban guys for saying stuff in chat, does that work to your advantage?
No, it doesn't. But at the same time, it gives me peace of mind. Like, I want, like in my heart, I want to make a good stream. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I know that everything I do is going to be used against me. Like, for example, somebody paid me $20 the other day to do 10 sit-ups. I'm like, I can do 10
I
sit-ups.
saw that,
yeah.
actually, on one of the highlight channels.
And, like, I know exactly it's going to go on highlight channels, which benefits me. But at the same time, it's going to be used to, like, make fun of me. And, like, I've got a lot of loose skin. And because people don't believe I've lost any weight, but I have. I've lost a lot of weight.
I saw you with the shorts.
Yeah. And like there's like a still picture of like me with like this tumor on the back of my head, when reality what it was me pushing loose skin up trying to do sit-ups without any kind of like foot leverage.
And it hurt your feelings?
It did hurt my feelings, yeah. And it's like people, I'm in my head, I'm like, well, they're going to do tumor shit. They're going to like Wings as a cancer survivor now. They're going to like take like the picture of me in like my hospital gown and like put me in like the cancer ward. And it's like, and another thing is like, let me ask you this question.
Okay.
Do you personally believe I got the surgery?
Oh, I have no doubt you got the surgery, and I have no doubt you lost a lot of weight. There's no quit.
I mean, like, I don't understand like why this whole rumor is like, oh, Wings didn't get the surgery. It's like, I even showed pictures of like my regimen in two
Is
different
that a
languages.
so, like? Is it a rumor
Well,
or a meme?
it might
Because
be a
like
meme.
I just in the last 2 years sort of understand it. You started to understand like the difference. Like people say this thing about you again and again and again and again, and you're like, man, why do people think this? But it's like, no, they're just memeing. They're just entertaining themselves. They're like,
Well,
that's not a rumor that I think anyone believes.
yeah. Well, that you'd be wrong on that because there's actual. It's a very small minority, but there's some people out there that are honestly trying to prove I didn't get the surgery. Like I went through all
Uh,
this trouble to get like a Marriott Tijuana pamphlet to take a picture of it. That I cut myself with a box cutter or some shit and stitched it up, and then like I hired like Latin people to like pull me around in wheelchairs.
uh, so those people are insane. What is it like to get this? Like, so
With the surgery, I have
I
no
know that
clue. I was asleep.
no, well, okay, but I meant post surgery.
Terrifying.
The impact of the surgery is what I'm trying to ask.
Well,
So here's where I'm headed with this. Does it make you legitimately less hungry? Does it make you? I think I've heard it described as unable to eat more, which maybe not. Isn't this like I could be unable to eat with a really bad sore throat? It doesn't mean I'm not hungry. What's it like?
um, when you first get the surgery, you have no desire to eat whatsoever. There's these things in your stomach called hunger receptors, and they cut them out. You have to regrow them.
Oh, that sounds nice.
So you literally forget to eat when you first start have the surgery because you don't have any kind of cue that you're hungry. That's why you have to do such extreme blood works early on, and it tapers off after a year or so, because they want to make sure that you're not going to get like nerve damage from not having the proper nutrients because you've been skipping meals and stuff like that. And that's why they have such a heavy vitamin regimen. But like,
Have you been keeping up with Boogie?
not particularly, other than like some of his drama here and there, because people always compare me to Boogie, which we're about the same weight now.
Uh huh.
And it's like, and like they want me to badmouth Boogie, but I'm
Right.
not going to badmouth Boogie because Boogie was one point was like a 650-pound man, and now he's like a 340-pound man. He has literally cut half of himself off, and even if he stopped right now, he is better for it in the long run. Like he's going to live
For
a longer life, he's going to live a healthier life, and he's probably going to live a happier life.
I think he needs an SSRI. That's what I think. I think
He's not on it. Didn't he go to like therapists and stuff?
oh, he could be. I look. I'm out. I'm talking out of turn. But some of the things that he does on Twitch, I feel like are self sabotaging, and he's not so dumb that he doesn't know like, oh, this is going to go viral in a negative way. Like when I hump a bed, I'm sure as he's humping the bed, he's thinking to himself, I'm not sure why I'm doing this. I know this is going to hurt me. Like mentally, it's going to hurt me
You're talking about the
financially. It's going
hooker
to hurt
thing,
me.
right?
Yeah, like he has a bunch of things that he's said and he's done. Like the Tesla, right? He says, people act like I'm conning you into buying a Tesla. I am, etc. I think as he's doing that, he is like being a cutter in a weird kind of way. He's self-harming, and for whatever reason, he's not resisting going through with it. And that's where like
I got
I
a
feel like
theory on this.
professional help. Carry on.
I want to address the two situations that you outlined specifically. The humping of the bed was him being down on himself. Like not so much that more in the way of like he doesn't feel like he's entertaining and like watching he's a number watcher. I can tell you right now without even asking him. He watches his numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And like he won't, and it hurts his feelings every time like his Twitch numbers are down or something like that. And he got famous being outlandish with the Francis videos, throwing tantrums and things like that. He did the hooker thing strictly for shock value. All he wanted to do was live in the moment and get his numbers up that night. He didn't think about the long-term effects of it. And I think that's Boogie's biggest problem. He never thinks about the long-term effects of what drama will be. The Tesla thing, same thing. I go out here, test drive a Tesla, claim I'm getting a Tesla, people have a controversy, limelight's on me, I do something great, and people forget about it and continue to love me, and I get my subscriber count up, which it didn't work that way. It backfired on him completely. And I think that's the world he lives in. Do you disagree?
I do. And I wonder if I can change your mind. Like, so I've said and done things that I knew would have a negative pushback to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost don't know why I did it. Like, I saw it coming, like the Robin Williams thing, right? Like, I saw that I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of going a little hard in the paint and the people were going to fuss at me about that. And I did it anyway. And I don't know why. And you're a guy who's gotten himself into hot water here and there. Was it always a surprise to you? Oh my gosh, why are these people reacting this way? Or was it
Well,
like, yeah,
I
I knew
was
while
I
I
was
was
shielded
doing
from
it,
a
they
lot
were
of it because it was part of my character. Like I'm not Boogie. I wasn't planted as like a centrist fence sitter. Like I
right.
was constantly known as the guy who said outlandish shit. And like a lot of the things I said were strictly for like shock value. But some things I've done that wasn't for shock value, like breaking down on stream and crying. That was legitimate. That's why it kind of grew a community out of it. And like
It
people
did.
can tell the difference between like legitimate and like shock value. Like people are like up in arms with Blade right now because he's legitimately being a piece of shit. And like there's no playing with it. Like if Blade went out and tried to do something shocky, like I don't know, like grab some guy's dick or something like that on stream, it wouldn't get a big
Uh-huh.
a tidal wave as Blade like dropping his pants because he has to piss and he's inebriated and he just doesn't realize he's on stream. Because it's
Yeah.
legitimate. It's a
Didn't
legitimate.
seem to realize there was no toilet nearby and he was indoors. Like, yeah, it
Yeah.
was
But
there's
you
a lot he
understand what I'm
wasn't
saying?
on
Like
top of
people
for that.
people can see that legitimate, like this guy's legitimately doing this versus like this is something done for shock value. And like I don't look at Poogie as like this bad person that people want me to look at him as, because like I know at least 12 people just like Boogie that just didn't have a YouTube following. Like people come in all shapes and sizes, and
Really?
some of them have different problems than others.
I yeah, I've still got my head just completely wrapped around this idea that what he's doing is a form of cutting. That, like, he's hurting himself publicly on purpose and he's just not able to make good decisions around it. I don't know. Maybe this isn't a concept that fits to anyone but me. But yeah, I don't know why he's acting the way he's acting. It's crazy.
And I think it's just I think it's just him trying to save his channel because he became Friends season 7 and like he didn't find another niche yet. Like he'll find
I love
one.
that analogy. I've used it a bunch of times too. And
Yeah.
by the way, I think Friends season 7 didn't suck. It was just the 7th time you saw it. It wasn't like the jokes became unfunny. It wasn't like the writing fell off a cliff. No, you're just like, what else is on?
I mean, like
And that happens to YouTubers.
it happens to YouTubers, especially YouTubers like Boogie, because I was in the same boat. I was a one kind of fence YouTuber. I did COD commentaries and I did a little bit of blogs left and right. Those channels pretty much died off, and like Boogie does even less effort. Like he just looks at the camera and talks about a current event. Like, I mean, he doesn't.
Sometimes.
He
Yeah. I don't
doesn't
know
really
that
do his Francis
I feel like
videos
Boogie
anymore.
had some scripts and he put some, like, he didn't do nothing.
He got famous off Francis, but like but people stayed for his personality, and he rode the personality wave for years. And like eventually people get tired of reading the personality wave. They find somebody new. Their life gets busy. They grow up. They get kids. They get jobs. They don't have as much free time. There's all kinds of things that you lose subscribers on. It's not just that because people hate you. And they also legitimately die. Like I'm bringing that because the term
Yeah.
dead subscribers was like popular when I was in my heyday, and it's like some of them might have died.
Yeah. There's over 1 million of them. There's got to be some dead ones in that list. There just must be. Uh,
I'm
so,
sure they weren't like dying in a car wreck and be like, please unsubscribe for Wings of Redemption's channel. And like,
did anyone die in your. Were there any dead students in your high school?
Yes, I've outlived 5 of my graduation party.
Did anyone die while you were in school?
Yes, Bobby. Well, I don't want to say his name, but Bobby did.
Huh.
He was.
There was a guy who died in my high school.
He had a heart attack.
And he was real popular. And he was in a car with a bunch of other popular kids. And some of them, like one of the other survivors was pretty hurt. One of them had like a broken arm, but that's not the worst. And one died.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a weird thing. it almost felt North Korean, where like some people acted more distraught than they probably were as a way to get into this in crowd. Like, oh yeah, Adam and I were so tight. I'm having a hard time not thinking about Adam. Adam and I, we were something. And Adam, of course, is dead and can't refute your relationship. And it's like, are you using this guy to get popular? This
Mm-hmm.
guy's death?
It,
Fucking
I've seen it too. It happened. It happened. It happened with the guy I was talking about too. He was a wheelchair bound guy, and he was overweight,
uh-huh.
and like he had a heart attack one night, and like then there was like Bobby Count's pictures hanging up in the cafeteria. Oh, I just said his name.
Well, he won't mind.
There was pictures of him hanging up in the cafeteria. They had like crying vigils in the hallway. I'm like, dude, none of y'all cared about this guy last week when he was by himself in the wheelchair trying to get a sip of water. But like now everybody cares about him.
Huh.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like if you really love your grandmother, take her to her doctor's appointments. Don't write her poetries while she's in the casket.
Wait, while she's in the casket?
Yeah,
That seems like bad advice.
No, I said take her to her
Maybe
doctor.
before she's in the casket?
No, if you love your grandmother, take her to her doctor's appointments. Don't write poems while she's in the casket, because like people,
Oh, okay.
because people will pretend
So I
like
think
they,
he got cut off.
yeah, people will pretend that they had a much bigger relationship with you because it gives them social points, and they're using your death as publicity. Like if you actually loved her, you would have took her to her doctor's appointments and actually spent time with her when you could have.
In the grandma case, I think that maybe they're making themselves feel better.
Could be.
Like skipping over how much better they could have been. So, are you playing the next COD when it comes out? People are excited about it.
Most definitely. Like I played the beta, and like there's, I kind of rage quitted the second day but it was more because I played 6 hours of it, and I was just tired of playing it. Like it was like one game mode 2v2 with the same 4 or 5 maps. It's like if you played an hour, you played 6 hours worth of it. Like it doesn't change. And like I'm not excited about the 2v2 mode because I'll never touch it when the game comes out. Like I want to get the game modes I'll play.
You're still getting cut off a little bit. It's the Spec Ops you say you'll never touch when it comes out?
No, the 2v2 mode that they had in the alpha.
Oh, is that just like a team deathmatch but 2v2?
Yeah, it was like team deathmatch 2v2, and they had random weapon setups.
That doesn't sound exciting to me.
You didn't play it?
So I was never the greatest gamer, but I used to play a lot, and I thought I was better than most. That's not true anymore. Lately, I've been playing PvE games because you can walk into them and be competent. Like I don't know, it's fun to me to just if I game 15, 30 minutes a day and get competent at a game, then that's how I enjoy my games lately. Like Rainbow Six, for example, or PUBG.
You would never want to touch Rainbow Six.
Dude, there are people in Rainbow Six who know those maps better than I ever knew COD maps, and I felt like I could look down at any part of any map for years and know where it was. Know where I was, even if I look straight down. I watch what happens with Rainbow Six. The lines of sight are so intense in that game. I would just be a baby buffalo, not even knowing it. Like, oh, did you walk in front of the stairs? What'd you think would happen? Oh, I don't know. Like, what happens in every other game? You just walk by.
It's cranked up to 15 in Rainbow though. Because like people will like knock a hole through drywall and shoot you 3 floors up.
Sometimes I daydream about me being in that game with you. Like, all right, Wings, let's set some expectations here, brother. This is not ranked. I never said I'm just playing. You're going to have to understand.
I don't really get mad at people. The only time I get mad at people in casual is when they're not playing to their ability. Not so much like my expectation of their ability, but like I know there's a better player in them, and they're just not giving me him. Like, if you're a bronze, I want you to act like a bronze. Like, but at least play as a bronze level, not a copper.
No. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm like,
some people will dick off and do that.
Or does he understand that coppers exist and he has one?
My biggest thing with Rainbow.
I thought about it. I'd be like, all right, Wings, tell me which character you want me to be. You want me to be Rook? You want me to be
Rook and
I don't know,
Sledge.
the hot chick? I don't know their names. You tell me. And what do you want me to do? You want me to follow you around, not follow you around. I see in the highlights you often get frustrated at other players for not being where you expected them to be. And I'm like, I wonder if I could avoid that situation. Would he not be mad at me if I was
Was that recent or like old times, like with Gustavo and stuff?
more recent than that? But I saw the Gustavo one too. Uh,
Well, like a lot of it, like the most recent one I remember getting mad on was PC. When I go,
huh?
I go, look, we're going to be playing ranked. I'm going to need people that are at least gold level players, and please be gold level. And then like everybody popped their name in and wanted to play, and I get a bunch of like bronzes. And I'm like, you guys understand I asked for gold level players, right? So I'm going to hold you to a gold standard. Like, yeah, we're cool. We got you. We can play better. I've been, they use the excuse like I've been playing solo queue and my rank is not a reflection of my actual skill, which is believable.
Uh-huh.
And I got
Well, what else would it be?
They weren't gold level players.
Oh, you can't see?
Well,
Like,
I can see it. I can see
they
the
were
rank.
carried gold? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is they were bronze, but they were saying that their rank was not indicative of what their actual skill set was because they just got bad teams and they played
Oh,
by
I
themselves.
see. So you're seeing them as bronze, and they're like, well, but I'm really a gold dude. I'm just in randoms pull me
Right,
down.
and
The
they
opposite of a carried gold.
and they were right
Yeah.
where the game told them they should be in bronze. They were bronze players. Because like you could tell when you're playing with a guy that's new and you go, "Hey, watch the freezer," and they just stand there. Because like Rainbow's like have you ever touched the game at all? Like even just walked around the maps?
No, but I've seen a few hours of footage, so I just know a tiny bit.
All right. Well, this doesn't translate because like watching the game and playing the game are two different scenarios,
Uh-huh.
and the maps feel so much bigger when you're inside of them. Like they're so confusing, they're so intricate. Like everything matters in Rainbow. It's not like Call of Duty where you have lanes. In Rainbow,
Mm-hmm.
you got to understand like there's a softball 3 floors up from me that can have somebody peeking from it, and you got to check it or you're dead.
Dude. I'm aware, like you can pick that up by just watching. And I was trying to say that walk in front of the stairs, but yeah, the lanes. It's like everything's a lane. People are shooting through walls. People are shooting through windows. Oh, and because headshots are one-shot kills, the penalty is so much worse for getting seen than it is in any of the games that I've played. And yeah, people will just sit there staring at a couple of pixels, hoping they can get one bullet in your head, and that takes you out.
And I'm gonna say this because this is part of my pride issue. I don't think people appreciate my skill set in Rainbow Six as they should.
You say people don't appreciate your skill set?
Yeah, because I'm a support player in Rainbow Six. I'm not a fragger. Like, and I've been known on YouTube as like a 3-4 KD player that like a super fragger. Like Wings will get the kills. It's completely different when you don't have aim assist. Completely different. And like I've proven like multiple times like I can hang in platinum on PC with a controller. Like I've proven that. Because like Rainbow is more about mouse cursor placement than it is about twitch reflexes. Like
I get that.
Like map knowledge, knowing where to shoot at, when to shoot, how to shoot, outthinking the player. That's what Rainbow's about.
Do you get paid to choose any of your games?
No. Last game I got paid to play was the Far Cry game.
Say it again.
The Far Cry game was the last one I was actually paid to play.
What game? Devil May Cry? Did you say that?
Far Cry. It was the expansion to Far Cry 5. I forgot what it's called. New Dawn.
Because I don't get paid to play anything. Obviously, I'm just a jackass who streamed like 3 times. But my observation is like everybody's on World of Warcraft right now, and everyone was on Rainbow for a while. And I just watch huge gamers playing things you wouldn't think they'd play, and I don't know. I don't know how
Don't. That's you take your own advice. Remember the Sea of Thieves advice you gave earlier with Summit?
Right.
Find what you like, build a community around what you like. Don't be the flavor of the month.
I wonder if they're getting paid enough to make it worth it. Like I don't want to call out names. I'm watching a guy right now who has maybe 1/3 of his normal stream size playing WoW. And not watching him, but he's like I follow him.
If somebody paid me, I'd play anything you wanted. Like if you wanted to play Bad Rats for 2 hours, if you paid me some money, I'd do it. But
Bad Rats?
Bad Rats is considered the worst game on Steam.
It makes me want to see it.
You can buy it.
Uh,
It's a penny. It's like less than $1. It's called
it,
Bad Rats.
I just my whole stream thinks I'm talking about Shroud, but I'm not. I don't follow Shroud, but I'm sure that he probably qualifies. Oh, Shroud. Oh, yeah, he is doing everything I described. I can see why they thought that. Um, Meanwhile, Summit, the guy who plays what he wants to play, is on Grand Theft Auto, which is what, a 45-year-old game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're asking me to ask you about the surgery money. Are any of those things accurate? Like, how do you?
Well,
How do you
here's the thing, right?
uh-huh.
When I started taking donations for the surgery, I said that I was going to stop the surgery goal at 25,000 because that's what it would cost me to get the surgery in America. And I was completely as passive and open as I possibly could be with it. And
You
like,
were. I'm sorry to cut you off, but like, and you said more than that. You were like, "Hey, after I get the surgery, I might not be able to work for a week or two, so I can't just get enough to pay a surgeon and make this happen. Like, I have to have enough to recover. I have to, like, like,
there's
there's
there's,
more to. I have to
there's
travel.
aftercare and
Like,
things
there are
like
things
that.
you have to do.
And
Yeah.
like,
Anyway, so you were saying, so
and I was
at first you
stating
wanted 25 grand. That was the American cost. Then you
that
found the
no,
Mexican cost. How much did that surgery cost?
the that way I worded it was like, I want to get the surgery in Mexico. That was my first choice because like, and but I was kind of afraid of the Mexican doctor because I never had a surgery. The stomach surgery was the first surgery I've ever had in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was terrified of it. And like I was legitimately scared of it. Like it probably I was so scared of it, it probably slowed down me going to get it. Like there was probably a month or two I kind of like put it off because I could move slower than I needed to and I could drag my feet on some things, and I
And there
did.
were some things that weren't true, like you said you had bought plane tickets, but that wasn't
No,
true
I
yet.
did. Those plane tickets were true. I have no reason to
No,
lie
they
about them.
couldn't have been because you were like, I bought plane tickets, but I didn't choose a date. I can move them to any date I want, and
No, I went with
I've just
Spirit
traveled
Air.
enough that that doesn't sound
I went
right.
with Spirit Air, and I said I want two round trip plane tickets to San Diego, but I don't know what day they are, and they gave me a
Uh
deal on
huh.
them, and I basically just went back through and just gave them a date when I actually set a date.
Who? How did you like? What you bought them through the an airline or like
Airline,
a
Spirit Air. I went
kayak
went straight to the countertop at Myrtle Beach Airport. I mean
at
that's
Spirit, and they sell them like that?
what they did to me.
Yeah. It's funny. I want to say I never heard of that, but I saw it in an episode of the Cosby Show once where they bought a vacation and let them choose their date. That's all.
Well,
I've never seen plane tickets
I've
with no
only flew on a
dates.
plane twice. Well, not well. It's been more than twice because I had to like there was like 6 or 7 different planes I had to get on to go to Tijuana and back. But there's only 2 occasions I went on a plane. One was the Billionaires Bash,
I knew that one.
and one was to Tijuana, Mexico, to get my stomach cut out. Like
Huh.
those are my two flying experiences. I only bought plane tickets for one of them. So this is my first plane ticket buying experience, and I mainly went to kind of get an idea of how much it was going to cost me to take me and my mother, and they ended up selling me tickets. Because at the time when I was buying them, I was
Okay.
like, if I buy these tickets, it's going to be more motivation not to back out of this. And that's the reason I
Ah.
bought them early.
And so, oh, you were laying out the surgery call. And by the way, like I'm starting to say it before, just because you earned 30 grand over that period of time and people were motivated to see you get a surgery and improve your life, some people act like all 30 of that had to be surgically related costs. And I never saw it through that lens. Some people, and I'm sure it was nonsense, were acting like they were going to do a refund or a chargeback or like they somehow didn't get what they deserved because the surgery turned out to be less expensive.
I,
But
I,
that has always been insanity to
I
me.
can always tell you 5 people pretty much paid for 90% of the surgery. And no, not one of those five
Okay.
people actually ever criticized any of my choices.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I've had like similar things. There's a lot of people who complain on behalf of somebody else in my universe too, and it's silly.
But like I was transparent with the whole time. I was like, I'm gonna get the surgery, but I want to I'm gonna stop this fundraiser when I have enough to get it in America, because I want to be able to choose Mexico or America, because America to me felt safer because I was in a comfort shell there. I know what America's like. I know what the American hospitals are like. I've never seen a Mexican hospital. I'm only going on hearsay and pictures on the internet, right? So
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at my money. Here's the money. $25,000 is what I wanted to earn, and I cut it off at $25,000. So I got $25,000 here to get this surgery done. What is the best route to take this? So I went to a fundraiser at Conway Hospital. Not a fundraiser, a seminar, because like that's bariatric surgeon here. He has seminars to get new patients in to kind of explain what the surgery's like, some of the downsides of the surgery, some of the risks that the surgery will have, where you need to be. And
did you end up going to him too, like for post-surgical care?
No.
Okay.
I had to go get my own, and that I'll talk about that in a minute. So I go to his seminar, and his little thing, I think it was like $16,900 is what he charged for cash pay, and that got you what $16,900 bought you. It bought you the surgery. It bought you the hospital stay to recovery time, any complications that came up to be fixed, and a nutritionist. That's what your money bought you there. And then over in Tijuana, my total cost was like $6,750. I know the check that I showed was like $5,500, something like that, but I'd already put in a deposit beforehand, because like you got to put in a money deposit for them to hold your spot, and then you bring the rest of the money with you in a certified check when you get there.
I'm curious. So you have photos of you down there and some other patients.
Mm-hmm.
Was there like a camaraderie? Like I want to say there was a woman.
I'm really good friends with one of them. Like she actually, she asked me to go on. She's on a trip to Alaska right now, and I got invited to that trip to Alaska, and she was going to pay my way. But it just didn't. The timeline didn't work. Like, you know, October's here, so like I'm doing taxes and things like that, and it's like I didn't know what my money was going to look like.
Wings, I'm so disappointed. Well, be honest with yourself. Why didn't you really go?
I'm being honest.
You didn't miss it because of taxes in October. Come on, bro. You're talking to an accountant.
Well, I'm telling you, like that's the main reason between like not knowing where Americanish is, and like I still have the anxiety from not knowing what my income's going to be month to month.
Wait, did you say not knowing where your air conditioner was?
Well, I know where it's at, but like I don't know when it's going to die, because like I have this fear that I'm going to go out there and spend $1,000, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I give up the ghost today. It's not like I could pay for the air conditioner right now out of pocket, but at the same time,
Wings, I think that you should.
Like
say yes.
This is the same thing with the car. Like I don't buy the car because I hate debt, and like I like to see money in my bank account.
I hear you, but like, look, I'll lay it out there. You don't travel a ton, right?
Right.
And even your day-to-day existence, a lot of it's indoors. If you had gone to Alaska with this girl, that might have been a life-changing experience, or at least something that would have made you emotionally richer forever. Forever. It could have unlocked an interest in vacations and travel in you. It could have done a lot of cool things. You have mobility that you didn't have 2 years ago. You should have gone.
You're right. You're right 100% on it, but like it's easy to stay in your shell.
Right.
I mean, like,
right.
But you're a guy who's worked in his house for like 10 years.
So the air conditioner and the October taxes, which, like, bro, that's not even a thing.
October taxes are a thing. like I pay quarterly.
October taxes?
I pay quarterly.
Isn't that September? Am I dumb? Maybe I'm dumb. But in any case, it doesn't take, like, you could just, your quarterly estimates are done like the year before. It's not, it wasn't the
I pay
reason
mine every quarter
that you missed that trip.
And I have to pay an estimate. But like, yeah, I don't know. My tax situation is unique, especially especially with this last year, because I had $30,000 of extra income that I have to pay taxes on.
I hear you.
And people are like, "Where's the 13K? Where's the 13K?" Uncle Sam has it. Like for the most part.
When an opportunity comes along, you should say yes. You
Right.
know that.
But like there's other things. Like she had just got out of an abusive relationship and I felt like I was getting offered his plane ticket and hotel because
And you know what you say when that happens?
yes.
One word. Yes. Yeah. You say yes, brother. You
Yeah.
say yes and you go. And then you find yourself in Alaska with this girl that might turn into something cooler or not. It might be a
Yeah.
friendship. It might be a romantic thing. In either case, you're going to see glaciers and boats and
And whales.
moose
I've always wanted to
or
go whale
polar
watching.
bears. And like, who knows what you'll see. But you say yes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean,
Yeah.
like I can give you 1,000 reasons not to, but like you're right. I should have went and I didn't. And but like there's lots of things in life that's like that. But
Yeah.
what were we getting on? Like you were talking about the surgery,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like I was thinking about that, and that's one of the reasons I chose Mexico. Is like I'm gonna have to pay taxes on this money, and it's like all this money isn't mine to spend because like when you get money, you got to give the Uncle Sam his cut too, and when you do
About a
like
third-ish.
streaming, you get paid in what they call 1099K. That's how you file taxes, and
Hmm.
it's they take it out hard because you got to take your Medicare and your Social Security out yourself. So like you get hit a little harder
Yeah.
tax wise than you would a normal person working a job making 30K because your employer
Right. For
pays
people
some
that
of
don't
it.
know, normally your employer pays the other half of your Social Security and maybe Medicare. And so you pay, I think it's 7.65%, and then your employer also pays that, but you never see it. So you just think of
Hmm.
it as Social Security as being 7.5-ish%. But when you're self-employed, you pay all 15-ish yourself. That's what Wings is talking about.
Right.
He's right.
So like so you pay a little bit more taxes when you have a small business when you have to pay everything
Yep.
yourself.
Yep.
And so like a lot of that money went to taxes, like just to pay my taxes off. And like that messed up my estimate taxes next year because like my estimate taxes are going to be done for like $60,000 versus what I normally make, which is like 40. So like I gotta
I
pay,
see.
so I gotta pay a little extra, or you get penalized for it.
I mean, unless you can accurately estimate your pay and then just pay what you would owe.
You're right. You're probably right. You got accountant in, but my accountant always tells me that I gotta pay taxes on what I made the year before. That's how they do it.
Typically, if you cover what you earned the year before, you're not at risk for penalties, even if you do really well this year. If you covered last year's, like if you pay as much as you did last year, then they don't dock you a penalty. But if you earn less than last year and you can forecast that, then you could just pay accurately.
I had to talk to him about it
Yeah.
because like I'm paying something like $3,000 in the next couple days because like I'm paying on projected tax income. Maybe it could be
Yeah. I
less.
mean, we're 3 quarters done the year. You might be able to, sort of accurately say that. I just realized you missed an Alaska trip in October.
Hmm.
When was that trip?
It it was September. She's in it right now. She's on it right now. She went September
Oh,
6th.
okay. In my head, I was like, wait a minute, is it too late to say yes? He said October, and I just
No, no.
realized it's not even October
She
yet.
just
But
she sent me pictures. I would show them, but like the girl's in it, and I don't want to.
yeah, I,
Yeah,
I get that. You
and like
can't
I
expose.
sent her a text just earlier because like she sent a picture of her like in front of this glacier, and like next to her
Uh
feet is like a big gulp. Like
huh.
not like she's drinking a big gulp, but like somebody littered and threw a big gulp cup down. I'm like, this is God's country. This is the
You're
greatest
right.
thing on earth, untouched by man. Let me throw my big gulp down on the fucking road.
You need to be selective about who you expose your audience to,
Yeah.
because like you've got a rough audience. As a PKA host, though, I also have an audience that can be aggressive, and you just can't put everyone on stream.
Yeah,
They'll
I was talking
get
about this morning. Like, why don't you sell your car outright and just get like, because you can usually sell your car for more than a dealership will give you trade in. I'm like, well, if I go to try to sell my car, the trolls are going to be watching the Craigslist like they always do. They'll notice my car because my car is kind of unique looking,
hmm.
and like they're going to start pretending to be interested buyers to get my phone number. And next thing you know, I got to change phone numbers again. That's not fun.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, I
that
think you can protect that through Craigslist.
can you
You don't even have to put your phone number in there. You could use email or
email?
something.
Yeah.
But
But like eventually, if they
but
pretend well enough, I might be. Well, this guy wants to come by. Hey, can I text you? I'm like, well, do I not give him my number to text me? Like, do I just be that sheltered against every person that tries to buy my Mustang and make it seem shady?
Somebody wrote in all caps, "We're not fucking aggressive, Woody." Like, I stand corrected.
Yeah,
I think he was joking.
yeah, but yeah,
But
like paying taxes on the money and like aftercare. Like you gotta understand, like my first year of blood work for me was $1,200 a pop, and I have to do it every 3 months.
what?
And it's because it's a huge
That's
list, and I don't have
you go to
insurance.
LabCorp?
Yeah, LabCorp. But I have to get like I would tell you exactly what I got to get, but it's like 25 things I got to get checked.
Huh. Okay.
There's probably troll videos that has the list somewhere out there if you really want to get check up on it.
Yeah, I bet there is. I bet there is. I was just saying because I've had to get blood work here and there, and it's always less, but it's actually a much shorter list too. I don't think I get 25 things done. But
And
there are companies that just do that. Like you can walk in, give them a list, and they'll whatever take 2 or 3 vials of blood. And that price sounds really high,
well,
but
it's
I'm not.
LabCorp. I go
What
to
do I know?
LabCorp every time.
Oh, you go to LabCorp.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it just is what it is. Yeah, I guess it's.
Like
I
they're
guess
they're
it's
they're
expensive.
the cheapest. Like if I went to the
Yeah,
hospital wanted $1,800 for it.
yeah, I don't doubt it. Right, or even a
Yeah.
doctor. Some like LabCorp is capitalism, doctor, where you know the price up front, and like you go to a hospital, it's just buried in obscurity.
And I kind of like LabCorp because the person that takes my blood's this sweet old lady that has
Uh
had the
huh.
same surgery I've had, so she knows exactly what I'm going through.
Oh, huh. How is it go? Like, I don't want to
You want to ask?
ask a question that sets you up for fussing, but still dropping,
No,
like doing good.
I
How's
lose about 2 pounds a week right now, but like
really?
but I was plateaued for like 4, possibly 5 months,
Uh huh.
and like
So,
I'm eating
what
probably
changed that
I'm
has
eating probably
you?
1,500 to 2,000 calories a day now. So like, it is what it is. What changed? You slowly
Yeah.
but surely your stomach gets a little bit bigger, and you
Uh huh.
start to regrow like hunger receptors. So you start getting hungry again. And the biggest downstroke for me was sweet tea. I got tired of drinking water every day,
Uh
and
huh.
I can't do carbonation. So like this whole like Wings drinks gallons of Pepsi, that's a total lie. I would vomit. Like because like my stomach is shaped in a way because like when your stomach's normally shaped, there's a pocket at the top of your stomach that gas can right raise to. I don't have that pocket anymore, so it goes straight up my throat. And my body it burns my stomach really hard, and it makes me want to vomit when I drink anything carbonated. And the way I know this is because you'll sometimes go to restaurants and order sweet tea, and there's this thing called the Coke Freestyle machine. And when they've been slack and they
I'm
haven't,
familiar with that machine.
yeah, and when they've been slack and they haven't made tea physically, they'll give you
Mm-hmm.
tea out of the Coke machine, which is brisk, which is carbonated. And that's how I know carbonation fucks me up hardcore.
uh,
And like, but sweet tea's been my Achilles heel, and for mainly slowing down my weight. That, and I haven't been working out like I should. And like I know I should be working out, but at the same time, it's all about motivation. Like when you're losing lots of weight, you're also losing lots of muscle because your body prioritizes muscle over fat for the most part
uh,
because it's higher in nutrients.
I the the workout thing for me anyway. I get motivated when things start going well. I always get knocked off by an injury, and it's usually bad form on something. I sometimes think that being older just makes you more injury prone, and I haven't accepted it yet. I try to work out and do sports and stuff like that as if I were 30 instead of 46,
Mm-hmm.
and every now and then it just knocks me off my stride.
Well, I'd
So I'm
probably be
actually
in
going
this.
to the.
I'm probably in the same boat you're in because like I'm 33, but like I've
Uh,
lived my life a massively morbid obese guy for the most part. So my body's probably around the same age gap as yours is. I'm probably a 45-year-old body from just the wear and tear I
I
put
hear
on it.
you, but not in every way. And yeah. Anyway, I feel like if you started getting some results from the exercise, then you'd get some motivation from it.
You're right. Like I really like working out when I was working with Drew. Like working out's
How
never
is?
really.
Do you still talk to him at all?
Drew's going through a really hard time in his life right now.
Oh, really? Or we probably shouldn't put that on blast, but
Well,
he seemed like a good guy.
he's a good guy, but like he started out with his food truck and he made a really bad choice with his food truck, and I kind of blasted him on it, and like he didn't agree with my viewpoint. So
Can you
like
start over from bad choice? It broke up.
Drew went into a food truck. I tried to help him get the money. We earned some
Uh-huh.
money. I tried to help him land like somebody to sponsor his food truck and be a silent partner. Didn't work out. So he ended up finding his own silent partner. So it
Okay.
is what it is. And he did really well for a while. And then like stuff started breaking on his food truck and he was making bad choices in his personal life that affected him not being able to keep his food truck up to code. So instead of fixing the problems, he just
Was
switched
his
his
bad
menus.
choice in personal life related to him putting his penis where he shouldn't again?
Yes. Um,
This guy.
but like he ended up spending extra money on that problem
Fucking Drew.
instead of like keeping his truck up to code. So instead of like fixing what he needed to do to keep the food that people wanted to buy, he switched his menus to like tacos. And then like there's like 4 or 5 other taco trucks
Uh,
here, so like he became like one of a dozen.
oh man, this guy can't keep his mind off sex so long. He's got to start selling tacos. Like, you know.
But like that's the last I've heard of him. I haven't really been keeping up with him that much because like I'm like dude, because like like his mother's a sweet old lady. Like for those
Hmm.
who don't know, Drew's adopted
Hmm.
and he has white parents, and like his parents came from a time that they were unique people when it wasn't cool to be unique people. Right nowadays, adopting like biracial kids is like considered hip.
Okay.
But when Drew's in his 30s, so like this we're talking about, early 80s, late 70s when these guys went out there and like, hey, we're gonna go adopt a Latin kid. So like they couldn't have children of their own. They went to Nicaragua and adopted Drew because Drew was going to be killed because of some rule. Like the mother had too many kids, or I forgot what the rule was, but like Drew was scheduled to be drowned, so they had to fly
What the
out
fuck? They were
overnight.
just gonna murder him?
Yeah, she was gonna have the
Okay.
baby, and they were gonna drown the baby. So they flew
All
out
right.
from Boston to Nicaragua that night to go get Drew and adopt him because they were they were like backlist order for adoption in America and things like that, and it was quicker to go get Drew. And like with all that being said, I got onto him about mistreating his mother. I'm like, this woman cared enough about you to get you where you are in life. You should at least value her opinion on like childbearing and things like that. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm telling more than I should.
Okay. Hey, I got another topic I'm curious about. I think
Okay.
people are. Years and years and years ago, you lost a 1v1. You might remember it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it now?
Don't
Now that
care.
it's all what, like it's just ancient history. Still
Don't
not
care.
like the guy. Don't care. Like,
I don't like the
where
guy.
is it in your head?
I don't like the guy, but I don't dwell on it. Like I never liked Syndicate because I always got a bad vibe on his personality, which
Really?
time proved me right on that. But
You talking about the CS:GO thing?
yeah, like and I'm sure the CS:GO thing's not the only thing Shady's ever got into because he always seemed like to me he's always come off as a guy that puts money ahead of friends. Like I've always got that vibe from him.
Um, I always thought he was friendly,
His car
but
salesmen are friendly, Woody.
dude, my real estate salesman still writes me like we're old friends. And I
Yeah.
feel guilty for like not doing my part to maintain this relationship, even though I really don't want it. I can't stop. But yeah. So man, I
Why did I never rematch
did you
him?
challenge? Oh, go ahead. You were saying something about a rematch?
I got asked in my chat why did I never rematch him.
Hmm.
I was down to rematch him when Call of Duty 4 Remaster came out because at that
Okay.
point I was completely over it. I didn't give a fuck if I won or lost because I didn't play Call of Duty every day. So if I lost, it's like, oh, scapegoat. you know, I was not in my prime anymore. Let's put it that way. So the reason I didn't
Right.
rematch
Yeah.
him is like, honestly, it would have benefited nobody. Like, it would have benefited me the most.
No, it would have blown up. It might have benefited you. I could totally
It
see
would have
how
benefited me the
people.
most. But like at this point, like most people that watch me don't even know the Syndicate 1v1 unless they went back to look for more shit.
Maybe I don't know.
Because
Like
you got to understand that happened in 2000 what 10 2011.
it's
It's like
weird.
8 years ago.
Kyle describes it really. You are super famous. Like you are more famous than your YouTube subscriber count would indicate. You're more famous than your Twitch concurrent count would indicate. A lot of people know Wings of Redemption.
Yeah,
Like, there's
mainly from the
this.
meme. Like I'm
Oh yeah, there's
I
the stop
I
meme,
get I get
dude.
I get noticed more the stop sign meme more than I do Twitch or YouTube.
I brag about knowing the guy in the stop sign meme, or I have bragged about it. Like, yeah, that that thing was
Like I
great.
get when I get recognized in public, it's for the stop sign meme now. Like honestly, like I
I
got noticed
love
in Dollar General the last time I did it. It's like aren't you the guy in the phone memes? I'm like, yeah, I'm him.
that. Yeah, yeah, like you are widely known. People know your name. People know that guy. So, I
But yeah,
don't
I
know.
always refer to like this. I'm Michael Jackson. Everybody knows who Michael Jackson is, but not everybody buys his albums.
Yeah. Did KSI just bring you up? And people are writing it in my chat. Was it? Do you know anything about this? Was it a video?
There was like a
Is it like?
panel he was on, and one of the questions was name the 7 people KSI did diss tracks on, and I was one of the 7 people.
uh,
And like I heard that
yeah,
Wag did.
KSI was mean to me. Like we invited him. Okay, we invited him to PKA, and he was actually a real trooper. It was PKA 100. So it was going to be like 7 hours long, and we
I was
had
on
a
PK
different
100.
guest lined up for every hour. Do you remember this?
I do remember this. I don't think he showed.
And I think he did show. And the way I remember it is not only did he show, but he really hung out through this massive DDoSing trouble that we had, which like
That was every show during that time.
yeah, but 100 was particularly bad. And I felt like he tolerated a lot of DDoSing and he was just waiting politely. And I thought it was cool of him. And then we invited him, maybe I invited him on the show again on Twitter. And he totally he didn't just say no. He didn't say he was busy. He tore me down and acted like I was a dick, which took me by surprise. I didn't know why we were beefing. And I forget how it went, but I was like, why are you so angry? What's your issue? And I later found out my issue was my relationship with you. That's why he was mad at me.
I don't know why he's mad at me. I've never talked to the guy. Like other than like that one night on PKA.
Switch to DCS.
I don't
I
remember
thought that
talking to him.
you had negative things to say about him. They're telling me to fight KSI in the octagon. Dude, I saw KSI fight. I don't think that goes well for me. No, thank you.
Like if you want me to say something negative, I'll say something negative about him. You know what I was talking about, like with like iPro Jared and Syndicate and like T Martin. KSI is gonna have one of those too, because he's that kind of person.
But not T Mart. I love T Mart to the end of the earth, and
But he still stole money from children, right?
it's not ringing a bell. Nope.
Yeah.
I don't think that ever happened. I love T Mart.
I'm just gonna say, like, I could see controversy like that happening with KSI. He's probably doing something shady, and it's gonna come out one day because that's just his personality. You can leave not to comment because I can take the heat. Because like, what's gonna happen? People are gonna troll me. Wait in line, motherfucker.
Yeah, get in line. You're harder than troll now.
Yeah. And like,
So what's in the future for you, Wings?
I want to talk with one talking point. Thick skin. I want to talk about thick skin.
What were you starting to say?
I said I want to talk about thick skin.
Oh, they want you to talk about thick skin, or
I
me?
want to talk about thick skin.
Oh, I don't. Gosh, Woody and Wings talking about thick skin. This
I
is like
I
fucking
I think we both got thick
George
skin.
Bush and Donald Trump talking about rap music. Really, I was going the other way.
No,
I feel like
because like
there's
the
no,
you got to understand, like we've been the recipients of like hateful rhetoric and swattings for years, right? And we're still doing this.
I hear where you're coming from. And I said something like that earlier. People say, Woody, why don't you just let it roll off? You never see, this other person have trouble with haters. And it's like, yeah, that guy's playing on recruit. Like, he doesn't get it. He doesn't have, like, the same kind of fussing happening about him. I did a paramotor video, and for one frame, I looked down at the camera, and Wings, my double chin, was 10 out of 10. And
I use a
man,
beard to hide
they
mine.
memed it so hard. It was it was really something. And it's like that just doesn't happen to everybody. I get it a little harder, you get it harder. And what might look like thin skin on us. You're
I
not
like
getting credit for everything you're dodging, everything you're letting go over.
yeah, I like to compare it to Kanye. Like people consider Kanye this violent person because the way
Violent?
well, like the way he deals with paparazzi. If you go put Kanye West paparazzi, there's
Okay.
million view videos on YouTube about it. And he gets a bad rap for it because the way he treats like people and he yells at them and he like throws shoes and like luggage at them. But at the same time, like this man gets harassed at like 3 a.m. in the morning while he's trying to like put his luggage in his car to go to the airport to do a gig or something. It's like there's guys outside your house taking photos. How many people would be cool with that? And all of a sudden, because Kanye gets mad at it, that he's a bad person for it.
Yeah. People want to be famous, right? And it sounds cool. It sounds like famous and popular are a similar thing. You walk into some high school classroom and everyone in your school loves you, right? And everybody wanted that when they were 16. But actual famous, it's not the same as everybody loves you. It's everybody wants something from you. Everyone wants a little piece of you. And even if that thing is just a selfie or whatever, like
Or being
if
like
you're the
a
famous
little fish that
guy,
eats off the bottom of the shark. That's what paparazzi is.
yeah, is that a remora?
Maybe I don't know his
Maybe.
name.
But like if I want a selfie with Kanye, what I really want is for him to whatever tell me that he appreciates me liking him and give me 30 seconds of his time at a minimum, right? But when thousands of people ask for that again and again, famous isn't everyone loving you. Famous is everyone wanting something from you. And that's a weird thing. I'm not actually famous, but if I go to these paramotor events in this tiny little world, in that environment, yeah, people like your videos. And then this unspoken thing, do one for me now. I would like a personal performance. Tell me things. And like they don't hit it back in the conversation oftentimes. They just want whatever. Me to give paramotor lessons or something. And it's like, gosh, I wish I was in my trailer on my phone.
Did you actually fly up to the edge of Hurricane Dorian?
Yeah. Yeah, that was real.
Like, why would you do that?
That was yeah. You have to be kind of generous to call that the edge of hurricane, but it was. That's what those clouds were from. They were from the outer fingers of Hurricane Dorian. It wasn't that bad when I launched, but when I landed, it was kind of sketch.
Well, I was just saying, like that seems like a risk you shouldn't take, especially with like
People
family.
say that. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of that. It wasn't that bad, like it was
Right, but
I
it
enjoyed
doesn't. It
that
doesn't.
play.
You might be able to do that 99 out of 100 times and not be that bad. But that one time where like the wind fucks your landing up and you break your hips, it
I
matters.
love that you picked an old man one. Right? I couldn't break a tibia or something. It's got to be a hip.
Well, I'm just saying, like you break your knees, your hips, you land wrong.
I hear you. It's a risk. Did you happen to watch my video? Something like double reserve throw.
The last video I watched of yours was when you were changing the motor on your paramotor.
Oh, okay.
That was a
Well,
while ago. Like,
I was doing this acro move. This is about a month ago, and it went wrong. And when you're on a swing set, the first time you turn around, like that half turn, it goes easily.
mm-hmm.
Then after that, I'm sorry, the first half turn is fairly difficult. Then after that, it spins easily.
Yes.
That happened. I was doing this acro move called a helicopter. There's not that many people who can do it, and my risers got twisted up like that. And it's happened to me before. Call it like a dozen times. So I'm like maybe too cool about it. And one twist, three twists, like seven twists. And the paraglider is nose down in a spiral. It's like 5 Gs. And I'm diving towards the
Five
ground.
G's. Like, wouldn't you be like passed out at that point?
A lot of people do pass out and die from this situation. Yeah. So long story short, I try to work it out for most of my altitude. I throw my reserve parachute. It doesn't work. As I'm spinning around, the parachute gets caught up in the wing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not going to expand. But I have a second reserve parachute. I throw that guy, and that one does work, and I ended up landing. And I'm even now still sort of processing the danger that you brought up. Like the hurricane, that's not the most dangerous thing I've been doing. And I'm trying to figure out what the lesson
Can I
learned
ask you a
from that
question?
near death experience is. Let me just wrap up.
Okay.
Like, I said in my video, like they say you only live once, right? That's not true
Hmm.
though. You live every day. You only die once. And I'm like, man, do I want to live a life that doesn't have cool shit like this in it? I don't want to die. I don't want to get hurt, but I also don't want that life. What was your question?
Well, it's going to be a long-winded question. So
Okay.
when when I my first car was a '91 Honda Accord,
Mhm.
and a reason I bring this up was it didn't have anti-lock brakes on it. And when I was very new to driving, I hit a patch of black ice on a curve, and I slammed on brakes, being inexperienced. And like normally, I would know like if you lose the accent of the car, you want to turn into it, not away from it, and you don't
Right.
want to slam on brakes. But I slammed on brakes and the brakes locked up. And like when they skidded, I panicked because I went straight into the other lane and there was a truck coming. So I jerked the wheel and into the other lane, and then I was going off the road, so I jerked the wheel again and I went off the left side of the road and I jumped a ditch into a guy's yard. Wasn't hurt, didn't hurt the car, but what it did do was it hurt my confidence in driving, and I was afraid of it for at least 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get any of that from that paramotor experience?
Absolutely. Um, so my chat was making fun of me for it, but the song playing was that "I Need a Hero" song. Do you know it? I think it's Bonnie Taylor.
Bonnie
Tyler.
Taylor.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, I need a hero. I need a hero till the end of the night. He's got to be strong and he's got to be tough and he's got to be fresh from the fight. That song will forever be mirrored to that, like matched with that experience in my mind. I and I listened. I went to an event like the following weekend, and I listened to it like a dozen times on the car ride. I still like I don't know, get chills. I get anxiety when I hear the song because they're linked together for
Yeah, it's
me.
kind of like Clockwork
I
Orange.
I've just started. No, I did some acro stuff the following weekend, and it was just like, why do I do this? Why is my favorite thing to do almost dying?
The adrenaline.
I hear you.
I mean, like you would
I like
you
getting
the
better
adrenaline
at it. I
junkie. Yeah,
like progressing. I like the challenge of it. It's difficult. It's technical. It's athletic. Um,
and Sonny Bono hit a tree trying to do stuff like that.
he did. So I don't. It's been in my head lately. Tonight before my flight.
Like
This is keep in mind. I'm doing.
this is gonna get personal, but like I'm over here thinking like you have a special needs kid. Like you gotta sometimes put what you like on the back burner for stuff like that.
I hear. Yeah, which isn't a crazy idea.
I mean, like you can get your
But
thrills by like I
by
understand being an
what?
adrenaline junkie because
Rainbow
like adrenaline's
Six.
no
Like,
Rainbow Six never gonna nothing in video game is gonna like
right?
replicate
Nothing
something in a
matches.
paramotor. It's not gonna
Imagine
happen.
being on a giant swing set, 3,000 feet in the air, pulling 5 Gs.
But
What else is there?
I think you messed up because you skipped straight to that. Like you probably should have tried like
Right?
skiing
I
or
couldn't do race car driving or something,
yeah.
which is halfway there.
Like maybe skiing
So
or maybe even like I think if you went like parachute jumping, it wouldn't even affect you at this point. Like you wouldn't get the same high you would. Like if you just jumped out of
yeah, I've
airplane.
done it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Because like
But
that's something I would like to do is like parachute jump at least once.
uh-huh.
But it's like I'm kind of terrified of it. But like you just did it in a free fall while you should be in with 5 Gs. Like for those in the chat don't know, 5 Gs would usually make somebody pass out. Like
Yeah, I wonder
that's like
like I
jet
am
fighter
I
kind of
don't
stuff.
I'm good with G's. I don't know if I'm good with them because I'm lucky or if it's a fitness thing or if it's just because I do it 4 or 5 times a week. But
I'm just picturing Jackie waiting for you to come home because you actually did pass out on that tailspin, and she has to wait 2 days while the police look for you, and like she just doesn't know.
oh yeah. Yeah, the way it goes down would be bad. I don't
Yeah, and
want
it's
that.
like it's good that you packed a second chute. Just imagine if you were negligent and didn't have two backups.
Dude, no one packs a second shoot. That's a rare thing. But
Yeah, because when
but
you said you
I
had a
do.
second one, like usually there's the primary and then the backup. Nobody ever has the
Yeah.
second backup.
Right? I carry that damn thing around all the it's I mean they're not light
Because
and
like when
weight
you
matters.
like parachutes scare me because like do you pack your own? And it's like all right, if you pack your own, do you believe in yourself enough to pack your own?
Right?
And it is like, do you do it from a factory? Do you worry about like, all right, so I bought this from the factory pre-packed. Is it going to work? Do I test it? If I test it, I got to pack my own. It's like,
Yeah.
like I've thought about that before because like when I was making, bukus of money, like parachute jumping was something I thought about doing. I was like, I really want to try this.
What's the can you go skydiving or would you have to keep shrinking?
I have no
We
clue.
better get back.
Yeah, I don't
Cause
know either. I did that
I'm not. I'm
once. I
not.
did
I'm
the
not. I'm still a fat guy, but I'm not like a fat guy. I'm not like I have trouble walking to the mailbox anymore. Like this is not
Dude,
an
that's
achievement
nice.
for everybody, but like I changed the brakes and rotors on my Mustang just recently, and
Cool.
it's like a year and a half ago I struggled walking to the mailbox, and I just did something physically intensive and did it all in one go without getting winded. It's like to me that's a
That's
reward.
awesome.
That's like yes.
Dude. Yeah. It's good for you.
I mean, like, I know some people out there, well, I change brakes all the time, but like when you used to be almost a 500-pound man, changing your brakes is an achievement.
Yeah, I anyone who says that just isn't getting it. Like it's hard to turn it around.
I don't think me and Woody should tandem jump because if I pass out on like some G's, I don't think he's going to be too happy.
Yeah. So
So
they asked me to ask you about your superpower.
oh,
And do you know what they're talking about?
yes,
What's your superpower, Wings?
my superpower is to diagnose vehicles by sitting in them.
Oh, I did hear about that. Is that true?
I am pretty accurate with it, yeah. And
But
Kyle pretty much lied through his fucking teeth on PK about it. So I usually don't comment on a
I
lot of shit, but I commented on that one because like
okay.
the
What
truth
did he get
is,
wrong? Because he feels like you find minor things that are off and call it lying, whereas he feels
I
like
don't
he's
remember his
wrong.
entire story right now because I haven't listened to it in a while. But
Okay.
here's the truth. So like if you want deviations from it, the truth was this: like I was doing FPS boot camp, and I drove my truck to Kyle's house, and on my way up to Kyle's house, I realized that my back brakes weren't up to snuff. I probably shouldn't have took this trip with the back brakes in the way they should have been. So
Okay.
like I don't have any of my tools. I don't have anything like that at Kyle's house. Kyle doesn't have a whole lot of like tools that he works on vehicles with at the house he was living at the time.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm out of my element. I don't have anybody there. I don't have any tools, but Jeremy does. And Jeremy was in a
Okay.
situation where he needed money, and I wasn't in a situation where I needed as much money as Jeremy did. So I offered Jeremy, like, hey, man, would you change my back brakes for me? He goes, yes. So we agreed upon a sum to change my back brakes. So he does it at his daddy's farm, Kyle's daddy's.
Okay.
And what ends up happening is Chevrolets are known notoriously for bad brake lines.
Okay.
And what ended up happening is when he pushed the caliper back in, it pushed a lot of rust into my brake line, and it made the caliper stick because it wasn't getting the right amount of fluid it needed to open and close. You following me?
I am, yeah.
So
Yeah, people don't know when you replace the brake, you kind of expand them again, and it pushes fluid into the system.
what happens
and
is the
into
caliper shrinks
cylinder.
down as your pads degenerate, and like when you put new pads on it, you got to pull the caliper back out and let it sink back down into the seat because like you have a
Pull
lot
them
more
apart.
pad.
Yeah,
Um,
I've done it.
So I get in and I drive back to Kyle's house, and my back end is jumping, is shaking, and I'm like, oh no, that's a stuck caliper. And I get to Kyle's house, my back wheel is literally steaming from all the heat coming off my brakes, and like, so like I'm Kyle. At the time, it was, he always says like he knows a lot about cars. He's driven a lot of cars. Like, Kyle, jump in the truck with me. Take me down the road. See if this feels weird. Because by the time I got back to his house, it eased off some because it had moved some, and wasn't sticking completely. Like it would stick a little bit, not stick, stick a little bit, not stick. And I'm like, I've drove this truck at the time. It was like 14 or 15 years. It's 18 years now. I know every in and out of how this truck drives. I can tell you when the exhaust is traveling wrong in it because I'm that in tune with that truck because I've driven it for so long. You're probably the same with your Tacoma. Like you would know when something's wrong with it. And I'm like, something's wrong with my back brakes. And I didn't want to like Jeremy fuck my back brakes up because there's all kinds of things that can go wrong when you repair something, right? You can repair something and inadvertently destroy something else that's been neglected on the vehicle. So I'm like, and Kyle looked at that as like me trying to get out of like FPS boot camp. That's the way he worded it. But
Right.
No, but no, like all that happened was like I called a local mechanic shop. I'm like, yo, I'm having this trouble. I changed my back brakes recently. Can you come check it out? And Kyle had to drive his car up there, and I had to ride back with him. I dropped it off. He goes, yeah, you cracked your rotor. I had to get new rotors, new calipers, new brakes put on the back. So I had to get the brake job done again, and I just had him do it because I didn't want to trust Jeremy to do it again because I had to drive this truck back to Myrtle Beach, which was like a 6-hour drive. So I got it done there, and the reason I didn't do it myself was one, I didn't have any tools, and I had no access to tools, and two, it was the easiest alternative to get me safely back to where I was going to get. And even when I got the truck repaired, I ended up staying until I think Thanksgiving, which is what my agreed time I was going to leave anyway. Because I went there October 11th. I left November 23rd, which was about a month.
I got lost. Are these the October 11th to 23rd? That's when you were at Kyle's?
Yes, October 11th to November 23rd.
Okay, November 11th to 23rd. That's how long the boot camp was?
Yes. That's how long I was at Kyle's house.
Okay. And
people
you
give
had
that this assumption that I left early. I didn't leave early.
I think you did. I think you wanted to leave it 3 weeks, and we got you to stay like, I don't know, 3 more days or 4 more days or something.
There was a
that.
painkiller already that people were hounding me on. I didn't want to be a part of, and that was right around the halfway point. And then this was before the PlayStation 4 even came out. So like,
okay,
because the PlayStation 4 came out that November, and after that PKA, I told Kyle I'll stay till Thanksgiving because I wanted to go back and do Thanksgiving with my family, and that's when I left.
I think you stayed. I think you left about a week early.
No, I didn't leave early at all. If I left early, it'd be like two, possibly 3 days early. And at that point, we really weren't doing anything boot camp wise. Like
it had fizzled out.
Yeah, like I was pretty much just hanging out at Kyle's house, walking myself, doing everything myself, and like we weren't doing any more videos. It was over with. Like I was just there.
Kitty's in my chat. She says you left 6 days early, and that ties in with my memory.
Well, I don't remember 6 days. I remember I left. I left to go back during Thanksgiving.
Okay. So I don't remember. I don't remember the start
How am
and
I
end dates.
lying?
I just remember
Like,
it being a
nothing
little
I said
early
was lying.
because I was like, I was working hard during. It was a PKA you wanted to go. I think you weren't going to attend that PKA, and then you kind of did it the last second.
Well, that's because I got
And
hassled to. Because I felt like if I attended that PKA, it would just be what it was, just a terrible show full of like drama. And it was. It was one of the worst
yeah,
PKAs we ever did. And it's the one that always
it
gets
wasn't
brought
Big
back.
Nasty or whatever that guy's name was. Who was that Halo player?
I don't remember that.
Boss Nasty.
Oh, Boss Nasty. Yeah, I do kind of remember that. He
I
was
wasn't
terrible.
on that one, but it was like the worst one ever.
And
Apparently,
I think that one gets me a lot of flack because like I didn't like doing the weight loss talk, and I think, and I did a lot of it because like it was kind of hounded on me.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't think it made for good content. I
It
thought it
doesn't.
did at the time,
It
but
didn't.
looking back, I think I was wrong. With the one exception when Joe Lozon fussed at you, because that was funny. Like that was, come on, Joe had a knack for it.
I don't
He played
remember.
the damn
Dude,
Incredible Hulk
you know how many damn
song.
PKs I've done? Like I don't remember half the shit happened on PK. Like even like I've done 176 episodes or some shit like that.
Is that right?
That might
Yeah,
be.
the two time flies. Someone had calculated that I did more PKA from this house than my last one, and it was like, what? Like, I guess it's right. They're usually right about stuff like that, but I didn't
Well,
realize
you know,
that.
everybody remembers dates, but if Kitty's in the chat, she'll tell you that we pretty much weren't doing FPS boot camp stuff by the time I left. Like we had nothing
She
planned.
said Wings did bust his butt at boot camp, though. So she's saying
I went in.
positive
I
things.
went
He
in and
worked
tried hard. I did. I mean, you could
Yeah.
physically see the difference between day one where I was struggling to hit a tire with a baseball bat, and then like toward the end of like the videos where like I was beating Jeremy on certain activities.
Nice. Yeah.
Like I would wake up every morning. I would walk. I'd get the mail, and then like I'd sit around and do nothing for a while. If Kyle wanted to work out, we'd work out. And then later that night, I'd usually get on the elliptical or go down in the gym and do weights.
I have a question. Someone brought it up in the chat. You know the poop story with your grandmother, the
Yes.
doctor, like she was a nurse or something. Was that story true?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
that story is 100% true. She wasn't a nurse. She was a nurse's aide. Like she basically would go to old people's houses and like wipe their butts and cook them meals and stuff like that.
I'm glad that story's true. I like
That
it that
story
way.
is completely true. I remember that part vividly in my life because that was the worst constipation I've ever been in my life because it lasted like a week and a half. Because I was scared to put stuff up my butt at the time.
Say that again.
I was afraid of putting stuff up my butt at the time because I never had an enema. Well, not an enema. Like I've had like a at that point I had only time things went up my butt was like at a doctor's office. Like I had anal piluses, and I had to have like stuff shot up my butt to like take X-rays for the inside of my bowels.
Yeah.
But like
Is it pilus? I'm trying to remember what that polyps. Is
polyps,
it a polyp by
yeah,
chance?
polyps, yeah.
Okay.
And so I can't say I've never had stuff in my butt, but like stuff going in my butt, I was uncool with.
Oh, you got to come around, Wings.
Yeah.
You might be missing
So I was
something.
afraid of enemas. So like I just dealt with being constipated, hoping that I would eventually pass it, and it just never happened. So like I did, I'm kind of like retelling the same story like Woody does, but we had an enema in the house, but it was out of date. Like it was completely out of date.
Okay.
And I thought it's designed to loosen up shit. Like even if it's out of date, it'll probably still do its job. I was wrong. It doesn't do its job.
Yeah. Really?
It doesn't.
So an old enema doesn't do enema stuff anymore.
No, it doesn't break down poo. Because I thought all I had to do was rehydrate the poo and it would be like good. But no, poo gets really hard like clay, like dry clay that's been sitting in the sun.
Come at night, mostly.
And
I got another one.
yeah.
You know the cat story where
The bucket?
young Wings, I'm going to call you
Yeah, that's
7
true,
years
too.
old, put a cat under a bucket and it died?
That's true too.
Is
Yeah.
that story true?
Yes.
Oh, it was a kitten too, right?
And I didn't realize it till like probably 6 years later. And like
Oh,
like because I literally we never moved that bucket again forever. Because like I was living with my grandfather at the time, and like he was kind of like a pack rat,
uh huh.
and like there was like 5 gallon buckets everywhere, and like it was just like I put the kitten under the bucket, and it just never got moved again. Like I forgot completely about that cat. And,
Do you
like
drink alcohol at all?
no, I drink mainly water now, and like every now and then I'll have sweet tea.
So there was a drinking episode where we thought you were going deep on some sort of
And it was
flavored
fruit punch.
vodka or
It was red vodka, and I poured all the vodka out and filled it up with fruit punch.
so.
But
How did that play? Had you been planning that for days? Was it a last
I played
minute
it. I planned it.
decision?
I planned it for a week because like I did the drinking show. This is the second drinking show. I did the first one. I had like strawberry peppermint shop. No, it was peppermint schnapps,
Okay.
and that one was legitimate. But I didn't drink a whole lot. But in
Okay.
the second one, I was like, I don't really want to drink, so I'm just
Right.
going to
I
play
follow
along.
that.
So like so I was just going to play the role. So
You
like,
did. You know what? You fooled me.
yeah,
And I have this thing about. I feel like I'm trying to use a word not than liar, but like when someone lies, oftentimes they think they are the tricky one. Like, look at this, I'm fooling people, they're buying it, etc. But it's actually the guy being lied to that chooses to allow it to happen. He sees through this. He knows what the scoop is. The liar is the one getting played. The person getting lied to is the one that's just allowing it all to play out. If I tell you, like, dude, I was at the gas station, there were 4 guys there, I was gonna fuck them up, and you just allow me to tell that dumbass story, knowing that I would not beat 4 guys up, I might think I'm fooling you, but in reality, you're fooling me by pretending to believe
yeah.
it. With this drinking thing, you fooled me. I didn't know for a long time until you told us that you weren't. You took a nap during that show. We were like you were going hard
I grew up
on
with a
that
lot
fruit
of
punch.
drunks.
Uh huh.
And like I basically mimicked what I've seen like all the drunks in my life do. And that's the reason I didn't want to drink because like my father's an alcoholic, Brooke was an alcoholic, my grandfather was an alcoholic, my great grandfather was an alcoholic. It runs in my fucking blood, and I'm like I don't want to risk this.
Right.
And
And
it's
that's
like
how you had expertise on
yeah,
passing out.
that's how drunks act when they're drunk.
He's a student of the game.
Because like I've wrapped many a legs from cirrhosis of the liver. Like, because what happens is you eventually like your glands start giving up on you. You start holding water, and the water starts at your legs, and it gets to the point where your legs swell up to like the water starts pouring out of your pores. Like the body literally pushes like the water in your body out. So you got to wrap your legs to try to get some of the water to come back up and help your heart flow. It's not it's not a glamorous death, and it's just like the shit with Blade. Like
I saw that.
Blade's gonna have a fucked up leg. He might even lose his leg. Blade might be an untreated diabetic from what I've seen.
People give me a hard time for not being meaner to Blade. Like, maybe I feel like this is how I work with relationships a lot. Like, if I'm cool with some guy in 2012, and then we don't talk for the next 7 years, it's where I left it off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I am with Blade. Like, Blade's never been bad to me. I'm not comfortable turning on him, even though I can see how people would expect that. Because he's done some stuff that would make you turn on a guy. So yeah, his legs and his whole thing he's got going on now is self-destructive, and I wish What does rock bottom have to look like? If it
I,
doesn't look like those legs, if it doesn't look like the trouble that he's getting himself into now, if it doesn't look like
I
this
don't think
embarrassment that
rock bottom doesn't apply to a drunk. It doesn't.
doesn't it though? I mean, isn't that how drunks turn around? It doesn't a drunk
Maybe.
wake up one day in a gutter, literally that like the side of the road kind of gutter, all wet, smelling like pee, and saying, you know what, I aspire to be better than this. Like that, isn't rock bottom what turns everyone around if they turn around?
I watched Brooke piss bright orange and still sneak a spark out. Spark was a drink he drank. Like he enjoyed these things called sparks for like $1. And they were like 7% alcohol. But like he's pissing orange. Like urine is not supposed to be orange. It's because his body's not filtering anything. His liver's just not doing its job. And it's like he would still sneak and get these things because he has a stronger hold on you than you have yourself. And not to mention you also got to take in self-worth.
Yeah,
I think the
that's
worst thing that happened with Blade was him getting with Ice Poseidon. That was the worst thing he could have done.
I I think about good things that turned out poorly for people all the time. Like the famous example is the lottery, right? It seems like a lot of people that win the lottery don't turn out well after that. It turns out to be like if they had just been plugging away as an HVAC repairman, they would have lived a better life than what it turned into post lottery, where now they're deep in debt in spite of the fact that they got $6 million, or now they have family trouble, or like it just that money turned out to be a curse. And it's crazy to think it could be, but it did. Anyway, YouTube success. I've seen a bunch of people get YouTube success and think, man, like they would have been better off not having it. You know, they didn't get rich out of it. They didn't get set up for life. Now they just find themselves in a spot where they fast forwarded without building job skills. Like it wasn't a positive thing in the end for them. And Blade and Ice Poseidon, like that seemed like a great break. But when you get paid for drinking streams and you're as prone to becoming an alcoholic as Blade is, then that's not the win that it seemed like. That lucky break of getting a little fame and fortune, if you call it that, was actually a curse. And I agree. I think Blade hooking up with Ice. I don't know what the alternative universe would look like. It wasn't like he was crushing it, but yeah.
Blade's never gonna get rock bottom, and another reason why is because like eventually with alcohol you sober up, and you can look, and especially when it's on camera, you can look back how you acted on alcohol.
Right.
Like when you're over here like physically groping girls and like pulling your dick out. When you're sober and you look back at that and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do another drinking stream tomorrow night. You know, it's how do you make that choice? Like,
on a side note, I don't know why that doesn't work better. I really feel like if women groped guys and pulled their tits out, they'd have success with that strategy, right? Am I crazy?
you're right about that, but like, I want to take another caveat on that.
All
As a
right.
guy who's addicted to food, there was times I couldn't stop myself from eating. Like I've told this story before, but there's been times I've sat in my truck and cried because I was going to go to McDonald's and there's nothing I could have done about it. Like it just has that much control over you, and I'm sure Blade gets to that point, and that's how he makes that choice where he's like, "Oh, well, I'm talking to Chris Hansen about raping a girl. Let's schedule a drink stream next week, or the next day, or maybe even that night. I don't know. I don't know the timeline." From not seeing, like, there's no rock bottom for alcoholics though. It just doesn't happen. I've never seen an alcoholic hit rock bottom.
Really?
Never seen it. I've seen
See,
people
my
cry
examples
about
aren't
it, but
very
it just
good.
continue to do it.
Who was the guy that did the he was a late night, I think late talk show host. Probably followed Conan or something. He was pretty cool. He had a robot. I'm waiting for the chat to hear me. They're going to know the guy's name. He was an alcoholic. He beat it. He did a famous kind of talk about Britney Spears when she cut her hair, and he saw it through a different light, like
Switch to DCS
people are saying
Ranger.
Ferguson.
240.
Craig Ferguson. Yeah, I think that was his name. He was an alcoholic that turned it around. It was because he hit rock bottom, and he's talked about his alcoholism a couple of times. And it was enlightening for him to, he's like how an alcoholic sees alcohol, how they, they want things you normally drink in shots, they drink in full glasses, and how once they get one or two, there's no stopping until tomorrow. So, sometimes people beat alcohol. It's not the worst of them.
Yeah, it
It's not
happens.
heroin.
It happens. I mean, people beat heroin. I mean, people even beat crack. But like, I'm just saying, like you're playing against statistical odds at it. Like,
Yeah.
I think what 5% of alcoholics actually beat alcohol. I think that's what AA statistics are. You can look this up. Might be coming out my ass with PKA stats. But I think it's 5% of all alcoholics actually.
This isn't real. These are statistics. I think I quoted you.
Yeah. I don't know. Like,
I'm sorry, I cut you off. I lost you. I can't tell sometimes
it's
when
like
your mic's being cut off.
people like want Blade to come to my house. I'm like, if Blade wants to come, he can come. I will hang out with him. I will do whatever he wants to do. But I'm gonna give him the lecture, and he can ignore it or not.
I've thought about. I've talked to him before. It's been years now.
Because I got pictures here at the house. I can show fucking Blade what alcoholism looks like. I've watched 3 men in my life die from it.
I've got a question about you asking mods to ban things.
I love it.
Does it bug you when they write things in the chat? Like, because I'm actually, look, for all the things I am sensitive to, chat nonsense is not one of them. Like, I don't try to control the direction of where my chat goes. You also don't do
Twitch. Well, you do now.
Say it again.
You don't really do Twitch a lot. You do Twitch lately, but like you're not allowed to have them spam like racist words in chat. Like
they hold you responsible for the things they say.
Yes. Like you can get banned if you allow somebody like have drawings of like a racist word just constantly spammed in your chat because you're not taking action against that. So that looks as you condoning it. And like it's something you got to stay on top of.
Okay, I hear you. But so while I wouldn't want that to happen, guys, don't be racist in the chat. That's not what I hear you, ban anyone who insults my gaming skill. Ban anyone who does, like, I started going with it. I ban anyone who
some of it's fun. It's like some of that's fun.
Okay. Oh, see, now if you just watch like Lean, for example, you don't get that.
That's because they're in small contexts. That's why I keep saying like they're edited to make me look worse than I am. But like some are in good context, but like some things like I will ban you. Like for example, like I banned like 3 people this morning right out the gate when I streamed this morning. And
what'd they do?
One was a subscriber, and he came in, and the first thing he did was like start hitting lines that I know are from like troll videos. Right out the gate, I haven't even sat down yet to get my stream going, and he's just firing it off. Hey, Richard von Wittgenstein, howsuckingsam.com, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this for the next 2 hours. I'm just going to excuse you out the room. Because they're still going to watch. They're just not going to be able to talk to me. Because, like, the big thing about the chat is I want to be able to read people's comments who actually want to be here to interact with the stream, not somebody looking to get into a troll video.
See, I have a different vibe about it. Like, the comments are there to augment the stream. And by that, it means sometimes they help me with content, right? Maybe they ask a question that spurs something interesting. And sometimes they're entertaining one another. And I don't know, knock yourself out.
But at the same time, like sometimes it's hard when the same shit's getting spammed over and over and over again to find like something to help the stream. It's like somebody might have a legitimate question like, hey, Wings, I'm going to do weight loss surgery. What are my tips to provide you on? Because there's something in the weight loss surgery I didn't even touch on. How like the doctor hurt my feelings.
Tell me about that.
All right. So like at my heaviest, I was 472 pounds.
Okay.
That was at my heaviest, right? So one of the reasons I didn't get the surgery done in the United States is he wouldn't work on anybody over 400 pounds. Just wouldn't do it. He only had done 500 of them. So I had to get under 400 pounds to get the surgery done in America.
Okay.
So now I'm at a crossroad where it's like, do I take 8 months to lose the weight to get it done in America? Or do I get it done now? Because people are already getting antsy with me thinking I was stealing the money.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but the Mexican doctor wanted me to lose as much weight as humanly possible. That was his words to me. It's like, I will do the surgery, but you need to try your best to lose as much weight as possible. The more weight you lose, the easier the surgery is going to be on your body and me. So I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm all in. I remember the last junk food I ate was 2 slices of pizza and a Meliella. I ate it, and that was it.
It's a solid meal.
That was it. And
Yeah.
so I ate 2 vegetables a day. I drank a protein shake. I had a meat and a vegetable for dinner. I walked. I tried to walk 2,500 steps every day for 30 days. I lost, I think, 38 pounds in the month leading up to the surgery.
Solid.
I went from like 472 to I think I checked in at like 441.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Numbers not be completely right.
That was the American doctor with the 400-pound.
Yeah, the Mexican doctor wanted me to lose as much as possible.
Wait, actually, so that cut off a little bit.
The
The American doctor was any weight, but do your best, right?
No, that the Mexican doctor was any weight, but do your best. The more you lose, the easier it's going to be on me and you.
Roger that.
Because fatty
Okay.
liver. Fatty liver is something big people deal
Okay.
with, and it makes because you have to pick the liver up to get to the stomach. And when liver's overextended and fatty, it makes it slip on the tools.
Okay.
But the American doctor wouldn't work on anybody over 400 pounds. If you're 402 pounds, he'd send you to a nutritionist until you got under 400 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to, so I got there. I'm proud of myself. I lost 38 fucking pounds. Like, by myself, nobody helping me. I did everything myself. I lived off, the only thing that helped me was I had my grandmother cook like the meats for me. I did all the vegetables and everything myself. And I was proud of myself. I was happy. I was on cloud 9. I made some friends because you get to go a day ahead of time and stay at a Marriott, and you can do what you want to do. You just can't eat or drink anything. So
Okay.
I got to make some friends. We're all getting hospital rooms. We're all getting checked in. So the doctor comes by and starts visiting everybody, and like he slams me hard in broken English. Like you always talk about, like it's always the true shit that hurts your feelings the
Yes,
most.
that hurt your feelings.
And it's like, you did not do a good job losing weight. And like my pride kicked in right away because I was so proud of myself. I just started crying right there, and I got loud with him. I thought he was going to throw me out the hospital.
Okay.
Because like I'm like, dude, I did my fucking best. I lost 38 goddamn pounds. And you're trying to tell me I'm not doing my best. And like there was an English barrier there because he didn't understand that I was upset that he was telling me that. I don't think he understood that he was upset that he was telling me that he felt like I could have lost more weight, and I was telling him I did my best I could. I think it was lost in translation. But like he still agreed to do the surgery because like why is he going to pass up a payday? Because he like another big factor of doing with Dr. Garcia was he's done over 10,000 of them, where the guy in Conway had did 500.
Huge difference.
Huge difference. Like no matter where you're from, experience is king.
Yeah, I there were other people who thought going to Mexico was a terrible idea, right? I remember
Kyle
the
being
cat
one of
lady
them.
made a video, and some people just thought it was awful. I never did. I always thought that like this guy is a machine churning these things out again and again. This hospital is not going to be a shack with a dirt floor. It's going to be the real deal. And I think that
I can tell you one thing
in
that
the
made me
end-
uneasy about that hospital.
Say it again.
I can tell you one thing that made me uneasy about the hospital.
Okay.
When I went into surgery, they had a radio playing music in the surgery room.
Well, that's normal.
I've never been in
Yeah,
surgery
they usually
before.
wait till you're out. Oh yeah, no, they play music.
Yeah.
That's a, they'll have a stereo system in the surgery room. So
That I'm like, man, I'm in a third world fucking country, and they're listening to like some Latin jam. And I'm cut my big ass open. My dick's all flopped out on the table and everything.
they've been playing La Cucaracha in this
Yeah.
country for 30 years. That, no, yeah, the music thing is totally normal. That's no big deal. Did they give you a medicine that they said was to make you less nervous?
No, I didn't get any of that. And I also didn't
missed
get
out.
I also didn't get
That's-
painkiller because I requested not to get painkiller.
Oh, for after the surgery?
Yeah.
Switch to DCS ranging.
Because like I don't want to I don't want to do any painkiller if I don't have to.
Right. Yeah, I'm like that too. And also, I usually don't get a positive impact. Now, the painkiller's a broad thing. I like ibuprofen and such, but what is the class of? Is it
Like-
barbiturates? Is it opium? I'm not narcotics. Is what I'm going
Opioids.
for. Like all that narcotic stuff, I feel kind of sick and dizzy, and it's not a pleasant experience for me. I think that the people who get addicted to it usually really, really enjoy it, and I don't like being on it, so I typically
I would say again, like not getting the painkillers was actually probably the best way because like after everybody getting the surgery, I was the only person up and actually walking, and like feeling good. Everybody else was
Right.
like walking zombies and like they're vomiting and like they're high on painkillers and they're also full of carbon dioxide. So for those you don't know, when you have surgery, they shoot carbon dioxide into your body to expand your skin to basically help them
So they have room to work.
to have room to work.
Right.
Yeah. And the only way to get rid of this carbon dioxide is to sweat it out. So they want you to walk as much as humanly possible after the surgery to get this carbon dioxide out of your body because it's got to come through your pores and to make you feel better because you're going to feel bloated. And like when you were hopped up on like painkillers, you'll sleep a lot and it takes you a lot longer to get this carbon dioxide out of your body, so it makes you feel really bad.
So the girl that you met down there, did you hang out with her pre or post surgery? Or both?
And they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Like I hung out with her. We got a day or so to hang out beforehand, and then we pretty much helped each other through the surgery. Like we walked together and things like that, and then we hung out the last couple days after surgery. 'Cause you only stay in the hospital 2 days. You're there for 5
Okay.
because it's kind of like sold as like a vacation package deal. So like you get to go like on like a vacation tour and like go to shops and stuff like that. Which is also kind of sketch if you think about it. It's called medical vacation.
I like it. Yeah, someone else in my universe went to Costa Rica for dental work, and I think he was happy with how it worked out. The American healthcare, it's good, but it's expensive.
I would
So
go
it's
back
not
to
always-
Mexico for more work. I would.
You would?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would. Anybody is afraid to go to Mexico for healthcare, don't be. The hospital is just as clean as just as clean as Conway Hospital, which I don't know if Conway Hospital is a good barometer, but it's the one I have.
What if my primary concern is that my doctor will hurt my feelings? That seems like a real problem.
well, if you can't deal with like nurses that
Gotcha.
can't speak English, and you like the doctors.
All right,
can
I got
speak
more
English.
questions.
Yeah,
The Mr. Big Guy music video.
never seen it.
What?
I know of it. I've never watched
You
it.
never saw the Mr. Big Guy one?
Nope. You're probably trying to find it to make me watch it, but I don't want to watch it.
No. I'm not doing anything. I actually didn't know if you were thinking, not talking, or if it was because the mic's been sort of cut off.
Yeah.
Come on, Wings, come clean. You saw the Mr. Big Guy
I've not
video.
seen it.
That one.
I have not seen it. Not in any length. I've like seen like snippets of memes and gifs people have made out of it. Because like sometimes you watch other videos and part of that video will be in another video. But like I've never seen the thing in its entirety.
So do you have a special appreciation for how well done that one was?
I don't mind like here's the big thing I have with like the troll like content, especially like the Liquid Richards stuff.
Okay.
Like the Liquid Richards stuff, I can appreciate the artisans part of it, like the craftsmanship and the time that it takes to go in to make that stuff. But when you see me like saying racist stuff and everything's the most negative thing about my personality and more so than actually making the song enjoyable, because there's a couple songs I've listened to could have been enjoyable if he just took my voice and auto-tuned it a certain way without adding the negative stuff to it. Like it'd have been more fun if I could have took like a Liquid Richard song and played it on stream, but you can't because like it's just me saying like a racist word 15 times, a verse.
Good night, Dad. Good night, handsome.
And
I'm
like
on the stream.
and like another thing is like I've actually like dropped like freestyles just so they'd have material to make those songs with, because like I know people appreciate them.
Colin's behind me. I'm not laughing at you.
Yeah, I know. I heard him.
What are you doing? All right. Good night, handsome.
You ever
Good night, Dad.
You're still here. I'm sorry, Wings.
you ever have a, like a friend's kid that's grown up with you? Like I used to have this
Say that
friend,
again?
I used to have this friend I worked with Met Glass, and I met his son when he was 3, and now he's driving. And it's like, oh, I'm old.
Dude, Colin, like people are his voice is crazy low. It might be lower than mine. He's not taller than me yet, but I think he's tracking that way. I think he's going to be bigger than me. And I don't know. He's just
How old was Colin when you first met me? Modern Warfare 2,
2009,
so 2008.
right? So he was 6 and now he's 16. Is about right.
He's 16 now?
Yeah.
Holy moly. Because like I still remember Colin as little.
Right.
Like last time I seen Colin, he was like 7.
Dude, he's ginormous. Yeah. We work out in the gym together too. And yeah, he's a blast. They all want me to bring up the Korea thing. What inspired that tale? Just trying to be entertaining on the podcast, I guess.
The Korea tale. At that point in my career, like when I first told the story, it was on a dual commentary with Kyle. And I remember the map. It was a dual commentary. We're on Skid Row. And at that point, I didn't think YouTube would go anywhere. And I was just trying to be more interesting than I was. Because like at that point, I was just a fat guy that played video games and worked too damn much. That was what my life was. Because I was just coming out of Met Glass, and all I did in Met Glass was work 12 hours a day, come home, play Call of Duty. That was my life. I didn't have girlfriends, didn't have, the days off I did have off, I went fishing. So like, it was just something that I didn't ever think would come back to bite me in the ass, because I lied a lot during my youth. Because you got to understand, when I got into this game, I was 23. Right? I was a young man. I was inexperienced at life. Whereas now I'm 33.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Yeah, people change a ton in those years.
Like, I'm right around now where you started YouTube.
Right, almost. I think it was 36, but...
Yeah, but like...
Roughly.
Would you say 23-year-old Woody and 36-year-old Woody are two completely different people?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And it's like people don't let you grow older. It's like people don't let you like change your mind. Like one thing I changed my mind on was like the Civil War, and people act like I was lying about it when I said like, yeah, I don't really agree with the Civil War anymore.
People can do that, especially if you, I don't know, read the wrong responses, right? Like there might be 8 people who understand that opinions change and 2 who don't. And it's so easy to fixate on the wrong 2.
Well, people were asking in my chat what was my opinion on Civil War. I used to think Civil War was about Southern heritage. Now I think it was just shitty white people being shitty white people.
What did you do at Met Glass? Like during the course of a
repair.
day? Like I never understood.
Operator repair is what my job title was.
What was your job title?
Operator repair. And what it basically was I was a melt deck operator. Like operator repair was like this generalized title they gave to a lot of employees. I would basically load charges, and I would melt melts, and I would do the chemistry for those melts. Like once you get a melt made, you got to do the chemistry to make sure it's right, so it doesn't cross into other company's specs like General Electric's. And then you pour it into the holding furnace.
So the audio's cutting in and out, but I understand you're choosing ingredients and pouring them into something super hot that melts them. Does that sound right?
Yes, but we use cranes. Everything's bigger than what it sounds like in your head.
Okay, and so you're using cranes and you're pouring them into what I imagine to be like giant ceramic pots or something, right? But like
4-ton melter,
big enough to put a car in. Yeah,
a few cars.
A few cars. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you control, and then you put these in, and then how do you make sure the chemistry is right, that this product is good? I assume you're doing this before it cools.
Well, there's engineers that set your melts up. Like there's people that's above my pay grade that would like give me a list of what to put in the melter, and then once you
Okay.
get it in, you would basically keep it hot and it'd be liquid, and then you would take samples of that and they would fine tune it at that point. So you take it to a chemistry lab, they would run tests on it, and you'd bring it back and you're like, oh, add this much silicon, add this much boron, and we're good.
I'm actually curious about. So this thing's molten metal of some sort.
Yes, liquid metal.
You take. Say it again.
Liquid metal. It's orange. It's
Yeah.
a solid in liquid form.
Right. Yeah. So you've got this liquid metal, I'll call it, and doesn't it turn into a solid when they're trying to test it? How do they test it?
It turns into a solid almost instantly, but like the way they test it is they do chemical analysis on it with acid.
Okay.
They
and
see
I
how,
guess they
they reliquefy it with acid, and they test what the how much content different ingredients have in. I can't tell you the exact ingredients because I signed an NDA way back in the way, and I'm sure it's probably still in effect. But like
okay.
But like they basically remelted it down with like acid and like little crucible pots and things like that inside the lab. It was just like a little quarter size sample.
Sorry.
And like what I was going back to school for back then was metallurgical engineer, which was basically to do the job ahead of me, to create the melts and stuff like that.
Oh, and what you actually did was control the machines that poured things into the giant melting pot.
Yeah, I was the crane operator and the melter. So like I made sure that the melt didn't freeze off. I had to clean the inlets. I had to clean the pit. I had to do the weigh ups. I had to unload the trucks with the billets and all the extra stuff. That was my job.
What happened to that job? Did you get fired?
2008 housing crash happened.
That happened to a lot of people.
2008, for those of you who don't know, the housing market crashed, and how that affect MetGlass, which we made transformer cores, was banks restructured how they gave businesses loans. So what ended up happening was all our business was like mainly Brazil and China, and they were getting loans from American banks to pay for our product, and they had gotten loans, that these long tail loans that were buying our product for like 6 years out. So we were running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, all of a sudden it's like, we're doing it based on our order now. We're going to only order what we need. And now you got 200 men that work 24 hours a day. The orders get filled quick. So like, then the machines are down. Once the machines are down, you got people standing around, making $26 an hour doing nothing. So like, at that point, they made us paint everything. So we painted the whole fucking building. Like, we painted everything. I remember being in a JLG, which is like this big man lift thing, painting a crane orange. And like, that only lasted for like 2 months. And they're like, yo, there's not enough work. We're going to start laying people off.
Well, that sucks. And
so I got on
so you were
unemployment, and then I started YouTube.
And then you started YouTube, and I guess by the time unemployment wore out, YouTube started to look pretty attractive.
I had to sell my boat.
You had a boat?
Yeah, like on the back of my truck it says Team Triton Boats, and I had a 2006 Triton with a 90 Optimax on it. It was aluminum, 17 footer, and I bought it with my 401k. Good financial choices.
I own 1/15 of a boat. It's always broken.
It was a bass boat. So like I had it, I wasn't using it, and I'm like, my boat's worth about 10 grand. If I sell this boat, I can use that money to keep me afloat until Machinima money comes in, and that's what I did. Because Machinima had already, it was right at the point where Machinima was like getting to the point where it's like, we're going to start paying you for your personal channels, because like we would only get paid for like every 3 months for like whatever went on Machinima Respawn.
Mm-hmm. The personal channels were like that at first too. They paid you quarterly, but it's hard to live on that.
Yeah,
like
was.
And it was a surprise. That was a thing I didn't like also. So it, Wings knows this, but it used to be we didn't get paid for mobile views at all. So
Zero.
you couldn't just like look at your views and anticipate what your paycheck would be. It would shock you. Like you don't know what's coming in, you don't know what the scoop is, and every time the paycheck rolled in, it was a surprise. You hoped it was big, but it might not be. And so when they started paying monthly and it became easier to figure out what that check would be, it became a more viable
Yeah,
career.
I always talk about my biggest check was like $28,000. That was one of those like quarterly machinima checks.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like bam. It's like
I
I'm fucking flat broke, and then like 12 o'clock midnight, you get a PayPal, and it's like 28,700. It's like, holy fucking shit.
right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. X-Jaws got one. His was way bigger than mine. It was quarterly, and it was something huge. It was just like, damn. But X-Jaws might fit in that category of like
It was a bad
take an
choice for him.
alternative universe where he never had YouTube fame and fortune. Where is he right now?
He's probably in a
Is he an
he's probably in a
attorney?
better spot with his father.
Right? Is he an attorney? Is he an accountant, an engineer who's finished college at this point? Like YouTube.
People say I
and
fail all
his-
the time, and I always bring out the point. I'm still here. There's a lot of people that aren't.
Yeah. People are asking what my biggest check was. I want to say it's 50, but I don't know if I'm mixing it up with the X-Jaws check. I don't mean to lie, but I think that I got a 50.
They kind of run into each other for a while there because we were all making dumb money.
And it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like X-Jaws won a lottery, and like a lot of lottery winners, it didn't turn out to be a great thing.
Yeah, and
So-
especially if he's still feeling the side effects of it. Because I haven't kept up with him. Like I don't know how he's dealing. Like 'cause he got addicted to Adderall, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
like,
I
is he
think
still
he-
feeling the effects of that? Like even after the Call of Duty monies wore off?
No, I wouldn't think. I think the drug thing he has all sorted out now. I think that I'm just making this up, but my expectation is that he has more of a like because fame and fortune came so easily, it's distorted his view of what work is like. Whereas if he had just kept plugging away as a successful student and then, carried that into college, carried that into like a natural life cycle, it would have been great. But instead, he's finding it hard to, just go, nose into a book and get the next part of life working well for him.
I'm gonna say something you'll disagree with.
Okay.
YouTube is harder than Mac Glass.
Did you say YouTube's harder than Mech Glass?
Yes. People get mad at me all the time when I say this, but like doing YouTube, being your own self motivator, being the total controller of your everything that happens to you was way harder than going to work and doing the same thing over and over again in monotonous order.
Huh.
Cause like my job at
It's
Met Glass
funny-
never changed. I knew I had to. Okay, it's like they got 12 inches left. I'm gonna have to do a melt in the next 2 hours. I do the melt. I got to go deslag it. Now I got to go take this to the chemistry lab. Now I go get the results from the chemistry lab. While I'm waiting for the results of chemistry, like I need to clean my area up. I need to go load charge buckets, whatever it might do. But like I didn't have to use my brain. I did what I did over and over and over again. Whereas YouTube, you had to constantly keep people engaged with you.
Was YouTube what people engage with you?
You got to constantly have people engaged with you, and you had to adjust with the algorithm.
Huh. See like my day job, it wasn't as defined. Like, every day you kind of had to figure things out, how to do things right. There was lots of decisions being made. Like that wasn't what made the job hard or easy. I'm trying to, I think the biggest struggle at Cisco was there was kind of a lack of excitement. Like there wasn't a joy. That's what I should say. The YouTube thing, as hard as it was, at least there was an element of joy. There were times when I did things on YouTube, but I was really proud of
the whole
myself.
the whole concept of this though was like I hate people saying YouTube isn't a job. It totally is a job.
Yeah, it can definitely be a job, but like I would argue that MechGlass probably didn't bring a lot of joy either. Maybe you're not
Oh.
using this argument because your Twitch doesn't bring you a lot of joy right now. Like you
No,
you
I'm
suck it
happier
up.
now than I've been in my entire YouTube career.
Really, right now?
Right now. I'm happier now than when I was making $10,000 a month.
There was
Because
excitement when I was
when I was
I
making
guess
$10,000
you
a
know
month,
what?
I had like $3,800 a month worth of bills, so like it didn't feel like 10,000.
Yeah. When I had money rolling in from YouTube income, I guess I felt proud of making something out of nothing. I felt proud of my growth. I felt like I was doing a good job at my job, and there was a joy to it. I felt proud. I was excited about having life-changing money and just saving it and investing it and doing smart things with it. I felt good about that kind of thing. But in Cisco, I don't know, it lacked joy. It seemed like I came home every day glad not to be there anymore.
Oh, I hated MechGlass. I would say MechGlass is like I had nightmares about MechGlass for the first 3 years of YouTube. Because I'd always be the same nightmare. I'd wake up and I'm late for work.
Was that what would happen if you were late for work?
I don't know. I've never been late for work. At least not MechGlass.
What did you say? I didn't hear your answer. What
I
would
said
happen
I
if you
don't
were
know
late?
because I was never late for work at MechGlass.
You were never late?
Yeah, but like
Yeah, like
I had this fear in me of the repercussions of it.
what would you expect to happen if you were late for work?
Probably nothing. Like they probably like write you up or something like that. But you had to get wrote up 3 times to get fired.
Oh,
Like you didn't have the
yeah.
you didn't
At
have the 3
Cisco?
strikes like rule.
At Cisco, nothing happens if you're late. You just tell them that I don't know, you weren't there. Like I don't even know if there's a starting time. They measure you how your projects are going, so you can't just not work. But
It's probably a little bit more in MechGlass because you had to let the next crew off. The person that you took over for couldn't leave his job until you showed up. So like, if you're late, that person's got to stay over.
yeah, that makes sense.
So like, I hardly ever took days off. Like, I would usually just cash out my vacation pay because they gave you the option like, end of the year, you want a balloon payment or are you gonna take your vacation days? I would usually just take the balloon payment.
That makes sense.
We can wind this down, but I wanna say one more thing about MechGlass. We worked so fucking often back then. I accidentally saved 40 grand one time in my life.
Say it again. It cut out a bit. You work so often.
We had to work 6/12s at one point in a row for like months. And during that period, I had no way to spend the money I was earning, and I ended up saving 40 grand by accident.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Well, I don't know if that's cool or not. Like that ties it. If you had kept doing that, I think the lack of joy would have gotten to you. Or maybe I'm.
Oh, I remember telling this on story. I remember getting in my truck, driving to work, and hoping to get T-boned and break just this one leg, so I could get 6 weeks off, so I could play video games and actually enjoy my fucking money. Like,
Dude,
MechGlass was soul
that was
sucking.
my accounting career. My listeners have heard this 100 times, but for me, it was an arm. It was like, I need to break my right arm. If I broke a leg, I could still be an accountant.
Yeah.
But if I broke an arm, they'd give you some time off, I think. All I did was work and sleep. So I was going to night school, and pretty much every moment I was awake, I was either commuting, working, or studying. That was all I did for months.
It's soul sucking.
People were like, "Oh man, you must be tired," and it's like, not tired. I'm getting 7 hours of sleep. It's just that the other. It's incalculable. 17 hours a day, I guess, or whatever. I'm fucking it up. Well, it's 7 hours of sleep, but every other hour is spent working, driving.
Every time you open your eyes, you're at work.
Yeah. I open my eyes and I've got something to do, and that doesn't finish until I close them. And
It gets even worse, like when it's monotonous, when it's the same fucking thing. Like the worst thing is going on to a 12-hour shift and the person behind you didn't clean up. So now you got to clean up before you start doing his job. It's like, oh. Because like different shift guys were like more strict about having a clean work area.
yeah.
But let's go and
Well,
call
man,
it
it was.
there.
Say it again.
Let's call it there. We've almost done 4 hours.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's been good. Time to wrap.
Yep. I want to thank everybody for coming out to the stream. I don't know if Woody's going to play more World War Z, but appreciate everybody who came out to my stream. I know a lot of you guys think Woody's trolling me. I don't know why.
That's not fair.
That's what they've been spamming for the last hour.
You tell your stream they hurt my feelings,
Yeah.
and that I'm falsely accused.
There's one of my mods in the chat. Remember I was telling you about that guy's kid that grew up? That's him. I met him when he was 3. He's 16 now.
Yeah. I have to address this. My chat has mentioned PKA 10,000 times. I actually don't even feel authorized to invite. I haven't booked guests for ages. Do you want to do PKA?
No. I don't want to do PK.
All right. Well, then that should satisfy my chat. They've been looking for that answer.
I mean, like I've told the answer. I'm sure it's been in troll videos. It's like, it's a chapter of my life I'd much rather remember fondly.
Roger that. Yeah. Well, I felt obligated to get an updated answer. So there we are. All right, man. I guess until next time.
All right. Peace, pimp.
Later.
See everybody. Let me go ahead and do some donation rundowns here. Thank you, Crystal Meth, for donating $3. Thank you, Spaztastic, for donating $5. Thank you, Delazio, for donating $4. Thank you, Ian Sharpshooter, for donating $3. And let's see, we got P Destroyer donated $3. How Much donated $5. Thank you as well. Connor donated $1. Ed donated $3. Temper Name donated $3. And Frenel donated 5.55. Cave donated 3. And we had Sam's Gravy Train donated 3 as well. Appreciate everybody coming out. Thanks. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see this more often, let me know. I got other people I can pull in. But I hope you guys had a wonderful time. And I'm out. Peace, people.